Okie dokie. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Happy Sunday. What is going on out there in America? How's everybody doing today? Good to see you. Good to see you. I wanted to come on today and talk about a few things that I'm hearing across the internet. I've spent a lot of years studying the foundation of America, studying the laws, studying the Constitution, studying the Bill of Rights. I've spent an absolutely amazing amount of time doing I am what I am at this point. So I saw yesterday that um, a very known activist in America named John Felix. I want you guys to go over to his channel. I'll show you guys his channel in a second. But John Felix was arrested yesterday at a DUI checkpoint. Ironically, I went to a DUI checkpoint the day before and I lambasted those Nazis. And so there's this, and then I watched this guy who hangs out with a dirtbag. So I'm not going to promote his channel, but I saw this guy on YouTube yesterday. I commented on his video, and he said out loud. Here's what he said out loud, which just shook me to the core because I do understand the foundation of our country. I do understand your constitutional rights. I do understand the rule of law. I do understand these things. Like the water fits in the bottle, that's how well I understand the foundation of America. I understand it in total. Now there's things of course I can always learn. I don't know everything, but I do know this. I do know this. So I'm going to get into it and I'm going to go all the way through every single bit. Let me check my phone here and so I can read you guys' comments because sometimes the comments get a little jumbled, as you know. So I'm going to go into this here. And what I've done is I've pulled up some notes for myself here. So let's start off like this. Everybody hit the like button right now. Every viewer, just take 5 seconds and hit the like button. Take your finger and hit the like button. It'll just take you a second to do it, but every single creator on YouTube, will make an announcement and ask you guys to hit the like button. So hit the like button for me. And then do me a favor, drop down in the comments. There you are. Greg, Gloria, Jack Booth, Thug Pigs, Denny, what is going on? Donald, how are you? Gloria. If you would please then type in the comment section, OTVO, overturn Terry versus Ohio. So this is a perfect little something you can learn here if you are curious about the reason why I always ask you guys to put OTVO in the comment section. Why do I care so much about overturning Terry versus Ohio? Why is that what I talk about all the time? How come my entire channel is based? Joel's back. Good to see you, Joel. How come my entire channel is based on overturning Terry versus Ohio? Why do I have t-shirts printed up? You guys know I hate being in the t-shirt business. So why is everything that I do based on overturning Terry versus Ohio? Well, it goes hand in hand with the title of this video, Sovereign Citizens versus the Rule of Law, or Sovereign Citizen. How about this? So it's so strange because you'll hear creators come on to YouTube and God bless them. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to cut them down or anything. But what I am going to say is that most of the assessments that I hear about sovereign citizenship is wrong. Most people, even creators who I promote and talk about, even people who I like and I'm friends with, when they talk about sovereign citizens, they're wrong. They're explaining it to you completely wrong. Now, when I came onto the scene, I explained to you guys that qualified immunity is important, but not 1/10 as important as Terry versus Ohio. And that caused James Freeman's whole thing is that, qualified immunity. James, you're wrong. You're still wrong. You'll always be wrong. God bless you. You did a good interview the other day on the Real News Network. You represented people well. I thought the auditors of America, you represented us pretty well. So, but he's just wrong. He's incorrect. Qualified immunity is 1/10, 1/100th of the police state, prison state, death state. That's after you've been hurt or damaged or charged or imprisoned or incarcerated. That's all these things that happen later. Qualified immunity happens later. The first interaction with the pig is Terry versus Ohio. Terry versus Ohio is unconstitutional. It violates the Fourth Amendment completely and totally. We've been living under an unconstitutional creation by the Supreme Court since 1968. So now, so let's get into, let me show you guys first. Let me show you John Felix get arrested. And I want you guys to get over to this guy's channel and subscribe to his channel. I have been watching John Felix. I don't know if it's Felix or Felix, but I've been watching this guy's channel for a very long time. So I was so blessed to be able to jump on his live stream a few weeks ago and talk about the rule of law and Terry versus Ohio and the things that I like to talk about. So let's take a look at this real quick. I'm going to show you guys falsely arrest me at an unconstitutional checkpoint. So, okay. So let me get into, I'm going to show you guys this, and just if you stick with me here, I'm really going to break down the difference between the rule of law and sovereign citizen. Just so you guys know, I am not a proponent of sovereign citizenship. And why is that? Well, let me show you John Felix's video, and then we're going to break down the reasons why you would hear me say that I'm not for you being a sovereign citizen. So and what are the police today? The police, it's so hard to say that they have become sovereign citizens because, so let me just give you the real quick synopsis so you understand it. There's a rule of law. And what is the rule of law? The rule of law is the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That is the basis foundation of the rule of law. And there's the supremacy clause that says nothing can go above this Constitution, nothing can go below the Constitution, nothing can go before the Constitution. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights are supreme. They will be upheld at all costs. Any laws or statutes or ordinances created by the states would violate the federal constitutional law of the First Amendment protections, the Fourth Amendment protections, the Fifth Amendment, the Eighth Amendment, the Ninth Amendment. So every single amendment or within the Bill of Rights is designed to uphold the constitutional rule of law. So that means if you go into Thomas Hobbes' rendition of the social contract, the rule of law is the social contract. So when I say to you guys, that's not rule of law, I'm talking about constitution. That doesn't mean that you are, pro big government or pro authoritarianism or pro statism. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I've preached and even taught a video where I teach that we should decentralize authority, decentralize people who are in the position to uphold our constitutional rights. So your Bill of Rights and your Constitution is the base of the rule of law. Now, what a sovereign citizen does is a sovereign citizen says, well, here's the rule of law here, but I don't have to live by those. I'm free. I was born free. Like Thomas Hobbes said, you are born free. The nature of man, what you are is you're a free individual spirit. You can do whatever you want. The gigantic problem with that, overwhelmingly gigantic problem, is that then you say that you don't have to follow the laws and the rules and the regulations that are set forth that I have to follow. And so then you get a society, and you guys know, if there wasn't a rule of law, I would straight beat people down. Kidding. But you know what I'm saying? That's what would happen. It would be bellium omnium contra omnes. A Thomas Hobbes saying that means a war of all against all. A war of all men against all men. So let's take a look at a little bit of John Felix's video here. And then I'm going to break down exactly how the rule of law is being violated by the police. And so if you're a sovereign citizen, then you don't even have a basis of a rule of law because you've created your own sets of rules and standards that a free man is going to live by. Well, I believe I can do this and I believe I can do that, and I'm a free man, so I can do whatever I want. The Constitution, which creates and establishes the social contract with the Bill of Rights, that means that I can do whatever I want as long as I live within the same rules of the constitutional law created that ensures my Bill of Rights. I can do all of, like you guys will see me, I'll stand on the sidewalk and I'll tell the pig, I'm not moving my feet. Because this right here is my land. This is public land. I was born into this world. I shouldn't have to pay to be here, but yet we always have to pay, especially if you're a man. A woman and a kid can come. They don't have to bring anything. They don't got to pay for anybody. If you're a man, you got to bring something and you got to pay for somebody. It's just, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. So let's check out a little bit of John Felix get arrested here. And then I'm going to talk more in depth about about rule of law and your Bill of Rights. So this. So it looks like John set up a tripod here. Okay, right there. Do you see that right there? Okay. Take a look at what's happening. You see the flashlight right there? I'm even going to kill the sound a little bit so you can just watch what I'm talking about here. Okay, so the activists on the side of the road
and all their goodies.
You got this guy right here.
So here it is, another poor victim.
Oh no.
So did you just see that? He flashed his light.
You got this guy right here.
So here it is, another poor victim.
Oh, another victim. Oh man. Whoa. Sieg Heil! Sieg Heil! Sieg Heil!
Okay, so why is he screaming Sieg Heil? He's screaming Sieg Heil because when the Nazis created checkpoints in World War I and World War II, you had to go through a Nazi checkpoint. And if the Nazi checkpoint found out that you were a Jew, well, anything could happen to you. Absolutely anything. So I want you to take a look, though, and see that there's a flashlight right here down by this pig's feet. Do you see that? These guys flash flashlights at us all the time, but he can't put a flashlight out here. He's going to get arrested for this, just so you know.
Sieg Heil! Sieg Heil!
Hey.
Forcing people into private property to be extorted.
Where's Chuck?
He should be driving through here pretty soon.
He's on the scene with Chuck Bronson, or Chuck Bronson's driving through. Okay, but you saw the light. Everybody saw the light that he flashed, right? So now as you go through here, I saw that one flashlight. And then if you take a look as I kind of stream through this here, I don't see there. Okay, right there.
How fast he went there? Holy crap. That would suck if one of these guys got ran over.
So he didn't even put the light in their faces. Did you see that? He flashed the light over towards them, but excuse me, he didn't even put the flashlight in their eyes like they do to us. And you guys have seen me when the cops put the flashlight in my eyes. I'm not going to participate anymore. You're blinding me. So I don't know what's going on here. You've taken away my vision. And because you've taken away my vision, I'm not participating anymore. As soon as you guys are ready to give me my vision back, then I'm going to go ahead and participate and give you my ID and everything else. But I'm not participating while you have that flashlight in my face. Take the flashlight out of my face and I'll participate, because they want to contract with you. So we're going to get into some pretty deep stuff here. But first, I want to show you John Felix get arrested. And let me drop the link to his channel, because everybody get over here and subscribe to this guy's channel and tell him Delete Laws sent you. I just dropping the link down in there right now. There it is. So there's the link for John Felix's channel. This guy's been an activist for a very long time. So I want to support this guy. You know, we're growing at 70,000 subscribers a month. So I want to shine the light on people. If you guys have not hit the subscribe or hit the like button, take a second and do that. Just hit the like button and hit the subscribe button real fast. And then type in the comment section, JBTP, for these jackboot thug pigs who arrested a real activist and also another scholar as well in his own right. John Felix is very well versed in the law. It's a little bit more. Now you guys saw him flash the light at the guy's feet.
Standing in the dark.
So you see that? You see the light he's flashing in his face? The light that this man's flashing in his face is far more than what John Felix did to the man. He's his feet.
John Felix is here also.
Okay, so right there is that. Okay, so he flashed a flashlight at him. It's on his hips and his stomach. Thank you, William, for joining. I appreciate it. Chevy, Michael, what's going on? Good to see you guys. He put the flashlight on his stomach. So now let me jump into this a little bit. All right, now we're going to go back into the sovereign citizen rule of law conversation. So if you're a sovereign citizen, I believe that they said they're pulling this guy over for a blinker or something like that, a light that doesn't work. So the United States Constitution, the rule of law, is that you have a First Amendment right to be able to travel in the United States. So what happens here is these cops have violated the rule of law by setting up a Nazi checkpoint to check your papers and see if possibly you've been drinking. and they want to arrest you steal your car and throw you in a dungeon. So that's exactly what you're seeing happen right here. And so now that they violated the rule of law, which is the Constitution, that you have a First Amendment right to travel freely unmolested, then they violated your rights when they're stopping you without probable cause. It's so important that you understand the basic foundation that we have these rights that are ensured by the Bill of Rights, that are only recognized by the Bill of Rights. Your rights come from God. You are born with the ability to speak. You can always speak. Always. You can always speak. So the fact that they are trying to set up these Nazi checkpoints, and then John Felix goes there and films them and points out that you have set up Nazi checkpoints in the United States of America. And so he has a flashlight so he can see what's going on. He flashes the flashlight on the pigs, and they're going to arrest him for that. Which, from my perspective, Mr. Felix, I would sue them immediately for violating your Fourth Amendment right for an unreasonable seizure. It's one thing to go over and say something to the guy who's got the flashlight. You could even, if you're the cop, could you lawfully confiscate his property? I don't think so. I don't think he could even take away his flashlight. He could request. What statute, code, or ordinance, and this is in Florida, would the cops charge him with for flashing a light? I'm not sure. I guess they would call it obstructing a copper. I'm not sure exactly what they would call it. But this right here, what you guys are seeing, is 100% total tyranny. This is not the rule of law. So when people say, oh, Chille, he's a statist, he's for the rule of law, this isn't the rule of law. What you're seeing right here, that's not the rule of law. That's tyrannical thug, jackboot thug pigs. That is people who have claimed to be authority of the law being tyrannical jackboot thug pigs. This is not the rule of law in America. They don't have a right to do this. So how can they do this? Terry versus Ohio. This right here, this DUI checkpoint, is an extension of Terry versus Ohio from the 1990 case called Sitz, S-I-T-Z, versus Michigan State Police. So they took the Terry policy created by the Supreme Court. And the Terry policy said that if we have reasonable articulable suspicion, well, then we can investigate you. They expanded that in 1990 in Sitz versus Michigan State Police. The police will say, well, there's empirical data that shows that there are people drinking and driving, so we're suspicious of all of you. And so we're going to set up a checkpoint here to test all of you. It's clearly a violation of our Fourth Amendment right. But how is this possible? Terry versus Ohio. This is possible through Terry versus Ohio. You know, John Felix is down there on the scene with Chuck Bronson, and they're freedom fighting. And I just want to point out to every single person here, this is a Terry stop. 1990 Sitz versus Michigan State Police is not possible without Terry versus Ohio. Neither are drug dogs. Neither is the dog barking. Florida versus Harris in 2013, that makes it so that a dog barking is probable cause, is an extension of Terry versus Ohio. They're suspicious of you, and the dog barked. That confirms that you have drugs. That's probable cause. You can be arrested. You have to understand the difference between what sovereign citizen and rule of law means. A sovereign citizen is going to say something like this: I have weed, but I'm not hurting anybody else. I'm not selling drugs. I'm not violating any ordinance, statute, or code other than me personally having marijuana. And so states like South Carolina say, oh, no, you violated a statute or ordinance, and so we're going to arrest you for that. The sovereign citizen will say, no, I don't have to live by that rule of law because I live by my own rules of law. And in this particular instance, they're right that it's wrong to create a criminal out of someone where there's no victim, the violation of your Fourth Amendment, that no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation of the victim. That part's not in there, but it's pretty implied. And so they're down there at the checkpoint saying, hey, what you guys are doing is illegal. What you guys are doing are wrong. And they're chastising these men. sometimes I feel like anger and frustration go over me, and I'm doing a better job of not expressing it. But let me just be clear. The guys you see in this video here wearing those yellow vests, those are jackboot thug pig tyrants. Those are Nazis in our country. This should not be. Every time you guys see a DUI checkpoint, you should walk right up to it. You should film it and let them know you guys are Nazis. You guys are Nazis. You guys are violating the rule of law. And so essentially, you'll hear other creators on YouTube say, oh, they're the sovereign citizens. That's a stretch. And now they're not living by the rule of law, but are they sovereign citizens? Or do they think that the rule of law doesn't apply to them at all? It's a stretch. It's a stretch. Are they being tyrannical jackboot thug pigs? Yes. Are they violating the rule of law? Yes. But a sovereign citizen is different than a cop. I mean, look, you can call them sovereign citizens, but the truth is they've been empowered by the state to violate our rights, and there's almost zero ways that we can get recourse after they've hurt us. So, but how are they entering into your life? Mr. James Freeman, how are the cops entering into your life? Through Terry versus Ohio. So they've set up this checkpoint. They're entering into people's lives through Terry versus Ohio. This checkpoint is made possible by Terry versus Ohio. You don't get stopped on the side of the road in a DUI checkpoint without the 1968 holding of Terry versus Ohio. There are no DUI checkpoints in America if there's no Terry versus Ohio. I mean, I know it like I know it like I know it. It's so funny because before I came on here, I was talking to one of the moderators and we were texting back and forth. And I said, hey, I'm going to give a lecture right now on sovereign citizenship versus the rule of law. And so, you know, I went on ChatGPT and I looked up some things, and I'll read some of the things I got on ChatGPT, but I already know them. I already knew them. Every single thing that ChatGPT told me today, I already know. I already know it. I already studied this. Like I studied this so in depth, I already know it. And so let's watch a little bit more of John Felix get arrested here. So he's putting the light in his own face right there. You see that?
As he's extorting people for money. Look at this. Just letting everyone go by now.
What did he say? Let's listen to what John said here. So the cops are saying something about the light shining as he's extorting people for money. So John Felix is similar to me, where he's disgusted by watching a Nazi checkpoint in what's supposed to be a free American country. So there's only 2 minutes of this video left.
Maybe you realize what he's doing.
Yes. I need it, bro.
Hey, honey, when I get home, I'm going to be so pumped up with this adrenaline from stopping all these people. I'm going to make love to you like you've never had love made to you before.
No, actually, he's going to go home and beat his wife. Here comes the flashlight again.
He said, yep. You talk cop laws. What's up? Oh, there go the state troopers.
So this is what I'm talking about. You can see he's just arbitrarily just letting some people pass and some people not. So they're suspicious of everybody, but only some cars. Only some cars he's suspicious of. You guys saw me go through a DUI checkpoint the other day. I used the trifold. I invoked my Fifth Amendment right, and he said, have a nice day. Because I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to go into you're tyrannically stopping me. So now let's watch this. He's about to get arrested right here. So let's check this out.
Where are they running off to, I wonder? That SUV, that state trooper SUV's got one of those dome-plated covers over the top of it, too.
A dome-plated cover over the top of the SUV?
Illegal thing.
What is that?
One of the ones that breaks the radar and the camera over the top of the fucking plate. And then plastic dome covers.
Man, Golden State Sox in the house.
What's up, everybody? I see the chat popping quick, but HBR, what's up?
John Denicola, what's up? Jerry Singleton, what's up?
Big stuff. Oh,
The
great.
Rowdy
That's
Patriot,
right.
formerly News Now Ohio, what's up? Cheers to you, Lady Zaga.
Joe Cool, what's up? What's up, my man? What's up, Joe?
We should have did that live together thing. I've never tried that.
Yeah,
I tried it. Is it any good?
It splits.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Does
Oh,
it?
that's pretty
They
cool.
can both see it. Everybody can see both of you, but one only the chats.
Oh, okay. Then she caught me on camera. You guys staying here a couple days? Where are you going back to?
So these cops have seen them flashing a light, and so they are now colluding to arrest them.
Really?
Yep.
So just the pig gets to arbitrarily decide whether or not you pass through or not. So this purple truck or blue truck, whatever that is, that's okay. They can just go ahead and go on through. The other guy's texting on his phone, and he's getting paid to stand there and text on his phone.
Now he's letting everyone go by for some reason.
Because they're planning on arresting you, John. They want to arrest somebody. Remember what the cop's goal is. And if you ever forget this, this will help you realign your thinking to invoke your Fifth Amendment right. The Fifth Amendment currently is the most powerful amendment you can use. So they're colluding right now to arrest John for flashing a light. Not even in the cop's face, not trying to put it in his face, but just putting it on and showing there's a cop there with his yellow vest on. So
first he said every fifth car. Now it looks like he's turned it into every 50th car. You ever seen a 24-hour tire store?
Never.
Yeah, look at that. It is.
So
You guys should go on, I guess it's Tampa City Police Facebook and let them know what you think about Fourth Amendment violating checkpoints.
he's exactly correct.
Charlie, what's up?
So what's he doing wrong but flashing the light, not even in their face, but you can see the light is 3 feet below their eyes. So he's not putting the light in their eyes. He's just flashing the light on them and showing that there's cops in the middle of the road. I don't see what's illegal about this.
Yes, Thomas. We've been trying to push the people off now already. They're supposed to notify the public, and that's what they did. Yeah, that's how they do it. Yep.
Or tweet our police to crack down on people trying to get home from work. It is not.
He is not. So the cop lies. Once again, it's on camera that the cop is lying. He says, "Don't shine the light in my face." He's not shining the light in his face. He's not. He's not. He's simply not.
Crack down on people trying to get home from work. It is not in your face.
And how many cops put the light right in your face? What a load of crap.
It is not in your face. Who are you?
Right. It's down at their groin. It's down at their.
What's your name? What is your name?
Clearly on the ground, moron. Are you deaf, dumb, and blind?
What's your name? Okay, don't ask me to do stuff you won't even identify, according to your policy.
How do we even know you're?
You see that?
All of it. You want ID? Are you impersonating?
You want
translate.
That means name and badge number in Pig Latin.
He's making my shoes shine.
NJ Wandering News, what's up, man? Buzz, what's up? I wonder why he stopped pulling people over now.
Yeah. See, Thomas, it appears the wet.
So now John, because he asked him not to shine the light in his face, John Felix is putting the light on their shoes and even 2 feet in front of them. Thanks, Shock Professor. I appreciate that. Get over there and subscribe to John's channel. Let him know Delete Laws sent you. But check it out. He's putting the light 2 feet in front of him.
It's not in your face, dummy.
So you're apparently you're okay. We're gonna get into this. I'm gonna break this down for you guys.
I'm shining it on your shoes.
Oh, he's so full of crap.
Who are you? Identify.
He's doing like the stop resisting when nobody's school. What's up?
So these guys feel like they're a protected class and that they can do whatever they want. John Felix, you need to reach out. I want to talk to you because these jackboot thug pigs need to be sued.
You're making it hard for people to be free.
I know it, right, Charlie? They always complain about the flashlights, but they do it to everybody else.
I started off this live stream by saying, how many times have you guys seen the cops put the flashlight in my eyes and me tell them, you'll take the light out of my eyes or I'm not going to participate.
Come.
Oh, here comes a whole bunch of them now here.
Okay, so the cop texting, he texts these other cops and said they're shining the light in my face. Oh, you see that? He pulled the torture cuffs out of the back of his
There
pocket.
we go.
So take a look. See the pig in the middle here? This pig is going to pull his torture cuffs out. Watch. Right there. Just pulled his torture cuffs out. Look at these beta male chump ass pigs.
Piggy time.
All right, sir, put your hands behind your back, man. Stand back, sir.
For what?
Journalists can't use lights.
Multiple warnings about what? Obstruction of what?
Obstruction, huh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's his property.
Yep.
He's taking it.
Oh, you're gonna steal property, huh?
It's gonna
Wow, look at this. They're putting him in torture cuffs.
get confiscated.
Oh, it is, huh?
Let's go.
Are you guys doing any good tonight? Let's go. Look at these pigs. Fucking pigs.
Exactly. They're pigs.
Yep. That's all right, John. I'll be down to bail you out in just a little while, man. Yep. Yep. I'll be down to bail you out in just a little while. We got you. Don't worry. You can't even identify. We got you. We got you. Strong arm.
They're total scumbags.
Scumbag.
Let's go.
You're a piece of garbage.
Okay, so I want you guys to get over there to John Felix's channel, subscribe to his channel, let him know Delete Laws sent you. But now let's take a look at something super important. There's something really important. So let me recite the Fourth Amendment for you. The Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. And no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place or person to be searched or seized. The person, place, or things to be searched or seized. So that's the Fourth Amendment standard. So what's the key word in the Fourth Amendment? No, the right of the people to be secure in the person, houses, paper, and effects against unreasonable seizures. If it's not reasonable to seize John Felix as he's on the side of the road for flashing a light. So this is the Chat GPT that I pulled up earlier. So now I want to show you guys this because we're going to scroll up on this. I'm going to show you a couple different things here. So what I put in here is I said, explain the Fourth Amendment reasonableness standard. What does that mean? The Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution protects citizens from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. The reasonableness standard is a fundamental principle within the Fourth Amendment, and it guides how cops, I don't say those words, conduct searches and seizures. Here's an explanation of the reasonableness standard. A warrant requirement. So the cops arresting John on the side of the road, they didn't have a warrant. Warrant requirement. The Fourth Amendment states that the right of the people to be secure in their person against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. This means that in most cases, The government must obtain a search warrant from a judge based on probable cause before conducting a search or seizure. So John was arrested on the side of the road. He was just arrested. There was no warrant, and there was no probable cause. John's rights were violated, and I will gladly help this man. So, probable cause. Probable cause is the critical component of the reasonableness standards. It means cops must have reasonable belief based on facts and circumstances known to them that a crime has been or is being committed, and that evidence of the crime is likely to be found in the location to be searched or the person to be seized. So the crime that they're charging John with is flashing a flashlight. They'll call it obstructing a government agent or interfering with police procedure, or I don't know what the Florida statute's going to be. They're going to charge him. But let me tell you, Florida cops, something. You're about to get sued. I guarantee it. John Felix is going to sue you, and I will help him every bit of the way. I will crowdfund for this guy. I will help him find his attorney. I'll help him in any way I possibly can. So here's the balancing test. The reasonableness standard involves a balancing test. So remember what we're reading here. It weighs the government's interest in conducting a search or seizure against an individual's rights to privacy. The government interest can include public safety, cops, and prevention of criminal activity. So John Felix did not affect public safety, and there was no reason, there's no criminal activity to be prevented. The more compelling the government's interest, the more likely a search or seizure will be considered reasonable. The more compelling the government interest. So even, I mean, just so you know, ChatGPT is a statist garbage. Whoever wrote the program, and I'll break it down as we read a few more things here. They tilt everything in favor of the state, in favor of the government. That you should not resist or fight back against the government. You should just accept what is given to you. So the more compelling the government interest, the more likely a search or seizure will be reasonable. So he was seized on the road for flashing a light, and not even flashing in his face so they could see the cops in the road. There's nothing reasonable about John Felix's arrest last night. It's unbelievable. Exceptions. While a warrant based on probable cause is generally required for searches and seizures, there are exceptions recognized by the courts. These exceptions include situations where obtaining a warrant would be impractical, or where there are exigent circumstances such as the need to prevent immediate harm or immediate destruction of evidence. So they didn't have to get a warrant because there are exigent circumstances. So let's talk about that just for a second so we understand where that term comes from. So I was born for this. So exigent circumstances, where does that come from? Anybody? I'll give anybody a free trifold if you can answer the question. Where does the term exigent circumstances come from? Where does that term? It's a very specific term, and it was created in a very specific Supreme Court case. What was the case based on, and why was that term invented? Did anybody know that? Anybody know the answer? I'll give you guys the Jeopardy music here to I should actually have that ready to play. But if you guys can tell me, boom, right there. Got it. Our guy right there. Got it. You got it. Our guy right here. Our guy 19. It's the Carroll Doctrine. So just so you know, when the Supreme Court creates policy at the Supreme Court level where they create laws for America, they'll call it a doctrine. They'll call it the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, 1961, Matt versus Ohio. This is called the Carroll Doctrine from the 1925 case of Carroll versus United States. Well, what is the Carroll case based on? Prohibition. They created a tyrannical doctrine. Thanks, our guy, 1936. Shoot me an email with your address and I'll send you a free trifold. So they created the exigent circumstances clause in the 1925 case of Carroll versus United States, which is based on prohibition, on cops enforcing prohibition. Prohibition was not a law, it was a mandate. You understand that? It wasn't the rule of law, it was a mandate, and then it became the rule of law with the 18th Amendment. that banned alcohol and created a law that said alcohol is banned. So they create the law. They use the Volstead Act in 1919. The Volstead Act was written by a bunch of what you called, they were part of the Temperance Society. If you had never heard of the Temperance Society, this was a big thing that Howard Taft was a huge part of, as well as Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who would push forth and get women's right to vote. They weren't there when it happened, but it was because of their efforts. But they were also part of a tyrannical group of people called the Temperance Society. The Temperance Society pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to get alcohol criminalized. And they first started with the 1919 Volstead Act, which Woodrow Wilson was totally against. And then they passed the 18th Amendment, had it sit there for a year, and it went through in 1920. And Woodrow Wilson, he vetoed it and said, this isn't going to work. You're going to create a police state here. You're going to create a prison state here. And Congress, 2/3 of Congress, overrode Woodrow Wilson's veto on prohibition. So 1920, prohibition starts. 1923, 1924, Carroll is coming down from, I believe it's Michigan, going down to, I think he's going down to Tennessee or Texas. I can't remember where he was going, but there was an alcohol run that came down from Michigan down south. And so Carroll will get pulled over, and then they search his car without a warrant. They say that the situation is an emergency. So how do we get to where it's an emergency situation? Because this guy could be transporting alcohol. This has to do with the FBI. And the new head of the FBI comes in 1924. Who knows the guy I'm talking about? What's the guy's name? Who came in? Who was the head of the FBI, took over the FBI in 1924? What was his name? Anybody? Anybody know the answer? He was the head of the FBI for almost 50 years. What was his name? What was his name? Well, anybody? Nope, it wasn't Elliot. Nope. I'm gonna wait. Someone's gonna get this. Someone knows the answer. J. Edgar Hoover. There it is, my friend. Thank you so much. Is that our guy again? Oh, I guess War got it in. Just Hoover. J. Edgar. Zach Queen got it in before anybody else. Zach Queener. Shoot me an email, Zach Queener. I'll send you everything that I sell. So J. Edgar Hoover comes in to the FBI, and he starts putting cyanide and poison in bottles of alcohol because they just can't beat the alcohol swindlers, which are who? The cops. The police are the biggest alcohol runners in America. So in 1925, when Carroll's case goes before the Supreme Court, the cops plead that the circumstances are exigent, that it's an emergency situation, that they absolutely had to search Carroll's car without a warrant because, well, he could be transporting alcohol and those alcohol bottles could be poison, which means the Supreme Court is then going to create the Carroll doctrine of exigent circumstances, which means if the cops say that they're in hot pursuit of you, they just have to say they were chasing you. Go back to 1925. How many cameras are there? And you think that we have a bunch of jackboot thug pig judges today. It was worse in 1925, way worse. They had created this demon out of alcohol, which, by the way, alcohol is still the worst drug there is, period, bar none. And it's affecting our freedom the most by far. So they go before the judge, and the judge, the Supreme Court judges in 1925, they create this doctrine that says cops can search your car if they say they're in hot pursuit of you, if they say that there's going to be a loss of life, poison alcohol, or if they have to seize contraband and they don't have time to get a warrant. Seize contraband is what? Illegal alcohol. 1925. So they created the exigent circumstances doctrine based on prohibition. Now, we wiped away prohibition with the 21st Amendment in 1933. However, the exigent circumstances clause, the exigent circumstances doctrine still exists, that cops can pull you over on the side of the road and search your car if they say they were chasing you, if they say there's going to be a loss of life, or they say they need to seize contraband out of your car. They can just say it. And then you have to submit to them doing whatever the hell they want, which is unbelievable. So while a warrant based on probable cause is generally required for searches and seizures, there are exceptions recognized by the courts. These exemptions include situations where obtaining a warrant would be impractical, where there are exigent circumstances. So last night, John Felix got arrested without a warrant, and the cops are now claiming, and it's normal every day in America, by the way, that the circumstances were exigent, that they needed to do this for public safety. They had to arrest John Felix for public safety. That's real. I mean, you're looking at it. You're watching the despotism of our government. You're watching it. It's just unbelievable. It's just jackboot thug pigs running wild from coast to coast. It's unbelievable. So now let's continue to read here. The reasonableness expectation of privacy, the reasonableness standard also considers an individual's reasonable expectation of privacy. In other words, if a person has a legitimate expectation of privacy in a particular place or thing, cops must generally respect that expectation and obtain a warrant before conducting a search or seizure. So now let's break this down in relationship to what John Felix was doing when he was filming Cops. The reasonableness expectation, if a person has a legitimate expectation of privacy in a particular place or thing, cops must generally respect that expectation and obtain a warrant before conducting a seizure. So that means that the police have to follow the rule of law, that you flashing a flashlight, not even in the cop's face, there's nothing exigent about that. John Felix's arrest was completely unconstitutional. John, I will help you any way I can to sue these jackboot thug pigs. I'll help you any way I possibly can. Just let me know what you need and I'll help you with that. So, scope of the search. Even when a warrant is obtained, the search or seizure must be conducted in a manner that is reasonable in scope. Okay, so now let's break that down. So even if a warrant is obtained, the search or seizure must be conducted in a manner that is reasonable in scope. So that means that if John was using a flashlight that the cops feel could affect public safety, then that means the cops, being reasonable, would be able to go over to John and seize his flashlight. Seize his flashlight, because that would be a reasonable seizure. Seizing John because he's holding a flashlight is unreasonable and unconstitutional, and John has got a smack dab lawsuit against these jackboot thug pigs. Cops must limit their actions to what is authorized in the warrant and must not engage in a general or overtly intrusive search. In summary, the Fourth Amendment's reasonableness standard requires that searches and seizures by government be based on probable cause. So once again, let's just stop right there. Here's why John has a lockdown home run lawsuit. Reasonableness standard requires that seizures by government be based on probable cause. So there was no probable cause. There was no probable cause. There was no probable cause. There is not a... They're going to cite that he was intruding or interfering or obstructing or interfering in government procedure. They're going to try to charge him with a statute. Okay, fine. Charge me with whatever you're going to charge me with. But it is not reasonable that you would seize him and arrest him when you could have seized his light. You even could have given him a face-to-face warning. It's an unreasonable seizure. The other night, I was at a DUI checkpoint. I was at a stop. You guys will see it. It'll come out in the next couple of days. And when I was there, the coppers had 4 young people in torture cuffs. These people were 18, 19. They said the girls were minors, so the girls might have been 17. The boys were 18, 19, 20 years old. So when they had them in torture cuffs, I said to them, why do you have these people in torture cuffs? They had them in torture cuffs because the guy who was driving the car was on probation. So they took all these kids and they put them all in torture cuffs. And that's become a reasonable seizure. It's reasonable because it's not a seizure. It's only detainment. Detainment is from what? Terry versus Ohio. That's what detainment is from. There's no such thing as detainment in America. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It was made up. It's not true. There's no such thing as detainment in the Constitution. There's no such thing. It's not real. It was created in 1968 by a racist, tyrannical Supreme Court that had a lifetime member of the KKK on the Supreme Court named Hugo Black, who was also one of the lead inquisitors in the John Terry oral arguments. So Terry creates this idea that if you put people in torture cuffs and you arrest them, you're not arresting them, you're not seizing them, they're only detained. The Fourth Amendment's reasonableness standard requires that searches and seizures by government are based on probable cause. They seized John Felix last night without any probable cause, zero probable cause. John, you got a good lawsuit here. And conducted in a manner that balances the government interests with the individual's right to privacy. It is a fundamental protection against arbitrary and intrusive government actions and plays a critical role in safeguarding individual liberty. So once again, you guys are reading it. This is straight from the statist chat GPT cop sucking artificial intelligence. I can't wait till someone comes out with an artificial intelligence that doesn't require that. Make sure you're polite. Make sure you're being kind. Make sure you're not saying anything that's too intrusive. Is that what the jackboot thug pigs do when they come and arrest you off the street for flashing a light at the ground? But I can't. Everybody, Joe Cool's in the room. Get over there to Joe Cool's channel. One of the moderators, pop up Joe Cool's channel and promote this guy. He is one of the few black activists we have. And him and Philip Turner. And there was one more guy. Oh, there used to be, what was that? Was it Two-Lane Transparency or Two-Lane Cop Watch? That guy was a black guy. There's not a lot of black activist auditors, and Joe Cool is one of them. And so get over to his channel. Make sure you subscribe over there. So now I'm going to go. Now, this whole talk was about sovereign citizens versus the rule of law. So you guys can see that they violated his rights. So I put some stuff in here just so we could go over it because I want to explain. So this is the thing I heard yesterday. And this is what really kind of got me where I'm like, you know what? It's so many of these YouTubers and Instagrammers and people who don't know what the F they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. They just say things that they heard other people say. And so they go, oh, yeah. Just like James Freeman spreading around qualified immunity. It's qualified immunity. Is that how John Felix got arrested, was qualified immunity? Or was that a DUI Nazi checkpoint that was set up by Terry versus Ohio? And then was he detained using Terry versus Ohio? Yes. And then was he seized and taken to the dungeon based on them setting up a Terry stop in the middle of the road, a Terry detention on the side of the road, and then taken to the dungeon? So there's no qualified immunity there. And that's in 9 out of 10 arrests. Most arrests don't ever have to do with qualified immunity. 9 out of 10 arrests start as a Terry stop. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? Terry versus Ohio comes first. It's not even remotely close. It's not even kind of close. Terry versus Ohio by a mile, by 100 miles. I don't want cops invading me. I don't want cops invading me. I don't want it. OTVO, Rusty. Everybody put it in there. Put it in there. OTVO, overturn Terry versus Ohio. Just pop it in the chat right now. OTVO. Let's fill that chat real quick with OTVO. Overturn Terry versus Ohio. You saw a Terry checkpoint last night, which is a SITS checkpoint, which is an extension of Terry. You saw a detainment last night, which is Terry versus Ohio. Everything you're seeing is Terry versus Ohio. There was no need to invoke qualified immunity because the cops didn't beat him up on camera. And then you can go around qualified immunity by simply proving, by using your trifold, by showing the cop, here's the law, copper. And then if they do it anyway, they went around the law, circumvented your rights. They knew better. Now you go around their qualified immunity. Just keep it what it is. Just keep it real. Don't BS me. So anyway, I heard this guy on this, a YouTuber, he said he said on his YouTube the other day that citizen means that you're a slave, that you sign up to be a slave. It's just not true. It's just not true. It's just not true. It's a lie. It's a total, it's another YouTube garbage thing that's been going around for years, and everybody's afraid to challenge that all these people are saying that citizen means you're a slave. It does not. It does not. It's the opposite of that. It's the citizen. The word citizen is the catalyst to the 14th Amendment. So let me get into it a little bit. So it's just not what you think it is. So what this says here, I said, tell me the origins of the word citizen. And I looked those. And so ChatGPT, just so you know, they're correct in this because I know my history. The word citizen has origins in ancient Rome, but in the context of America, its usage and meaning has evolved over time. Here's a brief overview of the origins and the development of the term citizen in America. Ancient Rome, the term citizen originally comes from Latin word civis, which referred to a member of the Rome state or a person with certain rights and privileges within the Roman Republic and later the Roman Empire. Roman citizens had their legal rights and responsibilities that set them apart from non-citizens. And this is the exact same thing today in America. If you're a US citizen, you have rights that go far beyond these borders. So early colonial America, when European settlers primarily from England began arriving in North America in the 17th century, they brought with them the concept of citizenship. In early colonial period, the term citizen was often referred to individuals who were members of a particular colony or settlement. Citizenship in this context often came with certain rights and responsibilities, such as the right to participate in local government and the obligation to pay taxes. In the American Revolution, the concept of citizenship underwent significant changes during the American Revolution from 1775 until 1783. A lot of people don't understand this part, and I want to make this abundantly clear to you. We were already in a war. The 1776 Declaration of Independence was written in the middle of the Revolutionary War against England. It's not like we declared independence and then we went to war. No. We were already in a full-on battle with England. They had already sent over thousands and thousands of troops. So this is just a lot of people just don't understand. Let's just keep going. I'll just keep reading. So during the American Revolution from 1775 to 1783, the Declaration of Independence penned by Thomas Jefferson in 1776 famously stated that all men are created equally and endowed with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So that is a direct plagiarism. It's Thomas Jefferson maybe penned those words, but he actually copied those words from John Locke's book, Two Treatises of Government, written in 1690. He took those words from John Locke's book. Thomas Jefferson was quite a student. He had read Montesquieu. He had read Paine. He had Thomas Paine was a very good friend of Thomas Jefferson's. He had read Leviathan. He had read The Spirit of Laws by Montesquieu. Thomas Jefferson was very, very well educated. And so he spent the time to get it done properly. And so when you include life, liberty, and property, the revolutionary document helps shape the modern understanding of citizenship in America, emphasizing the idea that citizenship should be based on the principles of equality and individual rights. So citizenship should be based on the principles of equality and individual rights. That has nothing to do with you being a slave if you call yourself a citizen. I've just been hearing this on YouTube long enough, and it's just crap. It's been crap, and it's always been crap, and it's just a lie. The word citizenship does not mean you're a slave. I'm proudly an American U.S. citizen. I'm not proud of the tyrannical jackboot thug pigs in our government who've bastardized our Constitution to where it's created an absolute tyrannical police state, prison state, death state. But I'm proud to be an American citizen. I'm an American through and through. I bleed red, white, and blue, baby. I'm an American. I'm fighting for this country right now. So then it goes on to say Constitution and citizenship. The United States Constitution, adopted in 1787 and ratified in 1788, established the framework for the federal government and addressed the issue of citizenship. The Constitution defines who can be a citizen, including those born or naturalized in the United States. So this is the clutch. Okay, so just so you guys know, what you're going to learn right here, this is the clutch moment in America where citizenship now defines that if you are an American citizen, you get equal protection under the law, regardless of previous indentured servitude or being a slave. Because there were people in America who were slaves that were indentured slaves, but they weren't black. They came over from Ireland, they came over from France, came over from all over the place because they came here for opportunity, and they ended up in a indentured servitude slavery role, working for a family or people who brought them over, and they could just never get out of it. And so they were now indentured servitude or a slave. But there were white people too, mostly black, but a lot of people came over because they had the opportunity to be an American. So the Constitution defines who can be a citizen, including those born or naturalized in the United States. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution, ratified in 1868, further clarified the criteria for citizenship and affirmed the principles of equal protection under the law. Expanding definitions. Over time, the definition of citizenship in America has been expanded to include broader range of rights and responsibilities. It now encompasses not only legal status, but also civic engagement, participation in the democratic process, and adherence to the principles and values of the nation. In summary, the term citizen in America has its roots in ancient Rome, but evolved significantly over the centuries. It gained new meaning and significance during the American Revolution and was codified in the United States Constitution. So that means the word was codified in the United States Constitution. Today, being a citizen in the United States carries both legal and civic dimensions, reflecting the nation's commitment to the principles of equality, individual rights, and democratic participation. So if you were not a U.S. citizen in 1868, then you didn't get the rights and privileges of being an American citizen. That's why so many, and I'm going to just read off ChatGPT here so that you guys can understand it without my slant or my perspective or my opinion. It's going to have a slant anyway because ChatGPT is a statist all the way. So now we're going to get into this next part, which is I already know the answers here, but I wanted you guys to see this from an artificial intelligence. Some people in America say that the word citizens means slave. Why do they say that? I've been hearing that. It's such crap. It's not true. The assertion that the word citizen means slave in America is not accurate in the conventional sense and does not reflect the standard definition of the term. However, some individuals or group may use this argument or make such claims for various reasons. Here are a few possible explanations for why people might say that. Historical context. Some individuals may argue that in the historical context of the United States, especially during periods of slavery and racial segregation, certain groups of people were denied full citizenship rights and were effectively treated as second-class citizens. They may use the term citizen to highlight the stark contrast between the theoretical ideals of citizenship, equality, rights, and participation, and the harsh realities faced by marginalized communities. Social and political critique. People who make this argument that citizen means slavery may do so as a form of social or political critique. They may be highlighting instances where certain groups, such as Blacks or Indigenous people, were denied full citizenship rights, including the right to vote, own property, or participate fully in the American society. So this is a super important part here. This is a super important part of this. So this may highlight instances where certain groups, such as Blacks or Indigenous Native American Indians, were denied full citizenship rights, including the right to vote, 15th Amendment, 1870, equal protection of the law, 1860, and including the right to vote, to own property. The 14th Amendment is going to give the equal protection under the law, which is going to give American citizens the right to contract equally. Now, this is going to have a slippery slope, and I'm going to explain the historical context of that I didn't look up on ChatGPT that I'll just explain to you. So, and we're denied full citizens' rights, including the right to vote, own property, or participate fully in American society. So that has to do with Black codes. 1865, the abolition of slavery happens. And so that happens in the final word is given by I'm going to blank on his name. in Galveston, Texas, in like June of 1865, Juneteenth. You guys know the date Juneteenth, where a general from the Northern Army who's defeated the South rides into town and tells the black folks there, because all the slave owners told the blacks in Galveston, you're still a slave. So the general rides into town in Galveston and tells them all, you're all free. You're all free. So now let's break down exactly what happens here. So now with the 14th Amendment is going to give people the right to contract. Okay. So you get equal protection under the law to contract. So because 1865, the abolition of slavery, from 1865 to 1868, there's 3 years. 3 years is a long time. Hold your breath for more than 3 minutes. 3 years is a very long time. Very long time. So I have only been on social media for 2 years. So that lets you know how long 3 years is. So 3 years later, they passed the 14th Amendment, which gives equal protection under the law for citizens and gives them the right to contract, because previously blacks and Indians and Chinese didn't have the right to contract. So now they get the right to contract. And what happens is the Southern slave owners begin to create what is called peonage contracts. Like I call myself a peon, like you are a peon, and I'm running to be leader of the peons, to be governor, where I can change this tyrannical system from the top down. So the Southern slave owners say, okay, if blacks can contract with us and they have a right to contract, well, then the government can get out of it. Get out. You're not involved in this. And so for a few years, blacks go through this really horrible, horrible time where they're given peonage contracts, where they can live on the land and work the land, but they got to pay rent and they got to pay room and board, but they got to work the land. And then they're going to get a percentage of the farm if they can only work enough to start to gain, but they never can. It's called a peon contract or a peonage contract. So the right to contract is used against blacks in America and used against their citizenship, because they kicked the government out of the contracts. And the government, because the government in 1868, while you may have had some real freedom fighters in there, for the most part, the government is still inherently a deeply racist and tyrannical organization that really wants to keep slavery, because slavery is going to continue. Like, just so you know, in 1865, when slavery was abolished, slavery's abolished in America, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. It wasn't at all. There were still slaves all over the place. Thanks, Alec, for the super chat. There were still slaves everywhere. They had slavery going strong after 1865. So what's going to happen, just so you guys know, let me just walk you down through history a little bit here. I'll come back. I'm going to come back. Let me finish what I'm reading here. So now we're going to get into some things. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. God bless you, man. Oh, DLZ Clips. Good to see you, buddy. There you go. Good to see you, DLZ Clips. So now let me check this out here. Let me keep going on this bad chicken. Rhetorical strategy. Some activists and advocates employ proactive rhetoric to draw attention to issues of inequality, injustice, or historical oppression. The term citizen to mean slave can be a rhetorical device to emphasize the point that not all individuals in American history have enjoyed the same rights and privileges associated with citizenship. It is essential to recognize that while this argument may serve as a rhetorical tool to spark discussion about historical injustices and contemporary social issues, it does not reflect the literal definition of citizen in the United States. In the United States, a citizen is typically understood as a legal member of the political community with certain rights, protections, and responsibility under law. The term citizen itself does not inherently mean slave. Instead, it is associated with the legal status and participation in civic life within the United States. Okay, so now, I mean, I don't think it really needs me to explain it. I don't think you guys need me to break that down any further than it already is. It's just what you guys have been hearing on YouTube is wrong. It's incorrect. It's wrong. You can go to any AI system and look it up yourself. It's not true. The word citizen does not mean slave. It's not true. And I'm going to prove it right here. I'm going to prove it in the next blurb. I already know the answer, but no, isn't the word citizen the key word in the 14th Amendment? I already know the answer, but I'm prompting. I have a video of prompting ChatGPT. I'm actually going to show it. So I want you guys to see it. Yes, you are correct. The word citizen indeed is a key term in the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. The 14th Amendment, which was ratified in 1868, contains several important provisions related to citizenship, equality, and civil rights. Yeah, I mean, it's right there in writing. I mean, I can't in any way, shape, or form, decide what ChatGPT is going to kick out. It just kicks it out. So it's just, you're reading it yourselves here. You're reading it yourselves. I don't need to. I'll just keep on reading. You guys can take it yourself. So in 18, it contains several rights provisions to equality and civil rights in America. Specifically, Section 1 of the 14th Amendment begins with the following: all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States, wherein they reside. They're citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. This is the beginning of the 14th Amendment. Look, this is the 14th Amendment right here. It's saying it for you right there. If you're not a citizen in 1868, you don't get equal protection under the law. It wasn't the same America back then. If you are not a U.S. citizen, you don't get the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States. If you're not a citizen, then that means that any person in authority can make or enforce laws that would abridge your privileges or immunities if you were a citizen. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property. If you're a citizen of America, you get due process. Nor deny any person within the jurisdiction of the United States equal protection under the law. If you guys have read some of the lawsuits that I filed, I often sue under the 14th Amendment. That I didn't get equal protection under the law, that it's a violation of my 14th Amendment of due process. And due process is the only thing listed in the Constitution twice. Due process is listed in the 5th Amendment and the 14th Amendment. Why? Because we had abandoned due process to kill and murder and prosecute and persecute and destroy blacks. Don't like it? Take a hike. It's true. It's history. I don't care. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you. Remember, on my poster that I sell on deletelaws.com, it says across the top of it, the unedited version of the history of the United States. I'm just keeping it real. And this stuff fires me up. So this is what I care the most about. This section of the amendment establishes the principle of birthright citizenship, stating that anyone born in the United States and subject to its jurisdiction is automatically a citizen of the United States. It also guarantees certain rights and protections to all citizens and prohibits states from denying citizens equal protection under the law. The 14th Amendment played a crucial role in extending citizenship and civil rights to formerly enslaved individuals after the American Civil War, and it has been the basis for numerous landmark Supreme Court decisions regarding civil rights and equal protection. So yes, the term citizen is central to the 14th Amendment and is foundational to the constitutional definition of citizenship in the United States. The term citizen is central to the 14th Amendment and is foundational to the constitutional definition of citizenship in the United States of America. So for anybody who has a computer that can go on ChatGPT, go ahead. ChatGPT is like sitting down with a constitutional law scholar on steroids. Brain on steroids, whatever. I don't know how you would properly say it. A beast of knowledge sitting there. And don't get me wrong, ChatGPT can get it wrong sometimes, so you really got to dig into it. So then I went on because I often will hear people in my comments and they'll say things like, America became a corporation in the 1800s. I believe that they call it it was the 1813 act of what was it? I can't remember the name of the act off the top of my head. But let's get into this and let's read more conspiracy theory garbage that has been spread by YouTubers who heard from another YouTuber, and so they went with that. I just like qualified immunity being more important than Terry versus Ohio. It's not even remotely close. It's not even, it's like having no water to drink and being thirsty and having a bottle of water to drink and being thirsty. Okay. That's the difference. That's the $1 million difference. So then I said, well, what about America becoming a corporation in the 1800s? The idea that the United States became a corporation in the 1800s is a common misconception. It's also associated with the various conspiracy theories. However, it's important to clarify that the United States is not and has never been a corporation in the sense that some conspiracy theories suggest. The United States is a sovereign nation governed by a constitution and a system of elected representatives. So yes and no. Yes and no. So it's not a corporation. That's true. The United States is a sovereign nation. In other words, we have a set of laws, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which is true. We're sovereign in that these are our rules and our laws, and they're unique to us and us alone. That's why you'll see people in my comment section say, I'd love to see you go to Colombia and do that. I'd love to see you go to North Korea and do that. They are not a sovereign nation governed by a constitution and a Bill of Rights. They're not. You couldn't do what I do in Mexico. You couldn't do what I do in Colombia. You couldn't do what I do in the Honduras. You couldn't do what I do even in Canada. Speech is limited in Canada. You can't speak. Your natural God-given voice that is recognized by John Locke's 2 treaties of government in 1690 and then expanded in the Declaration of Independence in 1776 and truly understood in the Bill of Rights in 1793 that will be ratified in our Constitution. That is the beginning of understanding that we, you and I, are a nation of the willingly governed. We're willing to be governed as long as you guys uphold the rule of law. What's the famous saying? That when the rule of law is violated, it's your duty to revolt. It's your duty to revolution. I can't remember the exact quote by John Locke, but you can see it right there. We are a sovereign nation with a constitution and the Bill of Rights and a set of elected representatives. That's what you're looking at there. I mean, you're reading it yourself. The origins of this misconception likely stem from a misinterpretation of historical events and legal language. Here are some key points. Government and corporation. The United States, there it was. The United States government has been incorporated as a for-profit entity. It was founded as a democratic republic under the Constitution in 1787 and has operated as such since then. The idea that the U.S. government became a corporation in the 1800s is not based on historical fact. Legal entities. There are various legal entities within the United States, such as state and local governments, corporations, and other organizations, but these are distinct from the federal government. Each state and local government have its own legal status, but the federal government itself is not a corporation. Corporate terminology. Some of the conspiracy theories may refer to the use of legal terminology, such as referring to the government as a corporation in certain legal documents or contexts. This does not mean that the government is a profit-driven entity, but rather reflects the legal language that is used in some contexts. I'm going to disagree with ChatGPT here. This does not mean that the government is a profit-driven entity. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The government is constantly trying to make money for their pig corporation, for their pig agencies, constantly. The CIA, the Iran-Contra scandal that was led by Oliver North and approved by Ronald Reagan. He'll never say he approved it, but the CIA went over to other countries, was selling guns and selling drugs so that they could fund the CIA. So the government is a profit-driven entity. It absolutely is. That is just not true. The government is trying. You are a dollar sign for the government. Your body being in a dungeon is worth money to the government. They want to put you in the dungeon so they can make money. They can make money off you. Just a simple fact. Conspiracy theories. The notion that the U.S. government is a corporation is often tied to conspiracy theories that seek to undermine the legitimacy of government or promote various agendas. Undermine the legitimacy of government. It is important to critically evaluate such claims and rely on credible sources of information when examining historical and legal matters. In summary, the idea that the United States became a corporation in the 1800s is not supported by historical or legal evidence. The United States is a sovereign nation with a democratic system of governments, and while legal language and terminology may vary in different contexts, this does not change the fundamental nature of the government. So, you know, it's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty cut and dry. Like you guys are seeing it. You're reading it yourself, okay? Here's where the government and our country has become tyrannical by appointing oligarchs and elitists to a Supreme Court for life. It's the Supreme Court, scholar. It's the Supreme Court. It's not the government. It's the Supreme Court. All of the tyrannical nonsense going on in America was created doctrines by the Supreme Court. The Carroll Doctrine, the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, the Terry Doctrine. They created these doctrines that 9 people who we never voted for, we never knew of, were simply appointed to a position in government for life. It's the Supreme Court, scholar. It's the Supreme Court. The government, the writing is on the wall. The government has a specific set of laws and statutes and ordinances. And the 10th Amendment, just so you know, the 10th Amendment today. Now, I don't want to go too far off here. The 10th Amendment, if you guys are unfamiliar with the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. But if you want to just encompass the 10th Amendment, the 10th Amendment lists all of the laws and powers that the federal government has over the states and over us. That's what it does in a nutshell. The 10th Amendment's a big amendment. It's a lot to read. So the 10th Amendment, what it does is it lists everything the federal government can or cannot do. Now, where it gets a little awry is with the Elastic Clause and the Interstate Commerce Clause, which is really going to be bastardized in Filburn versus Wicker versus Filburn. And I believe that's going to be in 1940, 1938, something like that. I can just look real quick and we'll just take a look at it. We already read this one. So let me read this to you guys because this is where the federal government gets tyrannical. This is where, and also you're going to have, so the official ending of the Lochner era, which is going to go from 1897 to 1937, is going to end in 1937. And there's a very specific Supreme Court case that is supposed to signal the end of the Lochner era, but it's the opposite. It's a total lie, where they're going to determine, I'm going to get in that case next, strict scrutiny. So now let me read this a little bit to you guys so you guys understand. If you want to know where the government, the federal government, became tyrannical, where we really got subjected to losing our freedoms, you know, where we lost our freedom, it's in this case right here. This is the beginning of the government's massive, well, this is a big chip in the, a big feather in the cap of where the government is going to be absolutely a tyrannical dog crap organization. And it starts right here. I mean, it doesn't start here. Okay. Wicker versus Filburn is a landmark Supreme Court case that was decided in 1942. It's an important case in the realm of constitutional law and has a lasting impact on the interpretations of the Commerce Clause of the United States. Here's an overview of the case. During the Great Depression, the U.S. government sought to stabilize agriculture prices and control production by implementing, what year was the case though? 1942. I said 38. Sorry about that. So during the Great Depression, the U.S. government sought to stabilize agriculture prices and control production by implementing an Agriculture Adjustment Act of 1938. Under this act, the government imposed quotas on wheat production to reduce supply and increase prices. Roscoe Filburn, a farmer in Ohio. Oh, man. The base of all tyranny is in Ohio. Filburn grew wheat for both personal and consumption to feed his poultry. He exceeded the government's wheat production quota in 1940 by growing more wheat than allowed. Filburn argued that the federal government did not have the authority to regulate the wheat he grew for personal consumption because it did not enter the interstate commerce market and therefore did not affect interstate commerce. Essentially, he claimed that his wheat was unrelated to the national wheat market and should be beyond the reach of the federal government. Okay, so right there, you know for a fact that this is going to go south real quick. Because as soon as you tell the government that they don't have jurisdiction or authority, then like I don't know how this makes you feel, but this makes me feel like I'm living in an absolute tyrannical police state, that you cannot challenge the federal government's BS laws. And if you do, they're going to bring in these 9 people who were never voted for, appointed for life, and the government's going to tell them how they want them to decide, and then they will. You don't think that there's a back door? You don't think that the U.S. Supreme Court personnel, I don't call them justices because they're not. They're garbage. It's the Supreme Court, scholar. Just remember that. It's not. So let's keep reading, or I'm just going to get pissed off the more I read this. Okay, sorry about that. In a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court ruled against Filburn and in favor of the government. The court held that even though Filburn's wheat was intended for personal use and did not enter the marketplace, its homegrown production had an indirect and cumulative effect on interstate commerce, an absolute and total lie. It just burns me up. When I read this the first time, it burned me up. The court's reasoning was based on the interpretations of the Commerce Clause of the U.S. Constitution, which grants Congress the authority to regulate commerce among the states. The court concluded that because wheat production by individual farmers, when aggregated naturally, had a substantial impact on the overall wheat market, Congress had the powers to regulate even the wheat grown for personal consumption. The Wickard versus Filburn decision greatly expanded the scope of the Commerce Clause and affirmed Congress's broad authority to regulate economic activities that, when combined, could affect interstate commerce. It is often cited in discussions of federal regulatory power and has been used to justify a wide range of federal regulations beyond agriculture. This case is significant not only for its impact on constitutional law, but also for its broader implications regarding the federal government's ability to regulate various economic activities in the interest of national policy objectives. Well, whose national policy objectives? The oligarchs, the government. Obama went into the White House broke. He said they were broke. He lives in a mansion in Nantucket. Joe Biden is making millions, getting on the phone. Hey, make sure you send that money or the big guy's going to come down on you. Billy Clinton, Hillary Clinton went in broke. They both said we went in broke. They're 100 millionaires. The Bushes were always rich. So from what I understand, the Bush family are owners of the toll roads in Texas. They get a piece. There's a bunch of families, but the Bushes are one of the families who are owners of the toll roads in Dallas and all over Texas. And I'm open to being wrong about that because, listen, as you know, there's so much misinformation in the world. We'll look into that. But first, I want to show you. So I read to you guys the Wickard versus Filburn from 1942 and how it redefined what Congress could do with the Commerce Clause. So now how does that affect you and me today? How does that affect? Explain how the Commerce Clause is used in Reich versus Gonzalez. So this is pretty terrible. So they used the Commerce Clause. They used the Commerce Clause to make sure that marijuana would remain illegal, that you couldn't grow it at home. Last I checked, in 2005, weed was not an interstate commerce problem. It's just such crap. Our government sucks. So now let's get into this. So it says, now I said, you guys got that. And it said, in the case of Reich versus Gonzalez versus Reich, 2005, the Commerce Clause of the United States Constitution played a central role in the legal argument. The case revolved around the federal government's authority to regulate the use of marijuana for medical purposes under the Controlled Substance Act in the context of California's medical marijuana law. Here's how the Commerce Clause was used in Gonzalez versus Reich. California, like some other states, had passed a law known as the Compassionate User Act, CUA, which allowed patients to use marijuana for medical purposes with a doctor's prescription. Okay, let's take a break right there just real quick. Okay, people have been using marijuana for a very long time and never needed a doctor's prescription. I've never needed a doctor's prescription to smoke marijuana in my life. I don't smoke marijuana right now. I haven't in a couple of months because I had some teeth pulled. And so I'm getting this tooth fixed. And so I can't smoke weed. However, I never had a problem with any marijuana I've ever smoked in my entire life. Not once, not ever. I bought marijuana in alleys back in the 90s where you have to buy it from a drug dealer in the alleyway. I bought marijuana from weed stores from Maine to California, from Florida to Washington. I've bought marijuana and used marijuana hundreds of times in my lifetime. Not once ever has there ever been a problem for me where I needed the government to regulate or help me buy marijuana. That's never been a problem. So I don't really understand this part right here. It's just such crap. California, like some other states, which allowed patients to, however, medical marijuana remained illegal under federal law, specifically the Controlled Substance Act, which classifies it as a Schedule I controlled substance. The key issue in Gonzalez versus Reich was whether the federal government had the authority under the Commerce Clause to regulate the possession and use of marijuana for medical purposes, even in states that had legalized it for such purposes. The government just wants to control us in every way, shape, and form. It's just unbelievable what we're living through. Supreme Court decision. In a 6-3 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the federal government's authority to regulate and prohibit the use of marijuana for medical purposes, even in states where it was legal under the state law. The court's decision was based on its interpretation of the Commerce Clause. The court reasoned that Congress could regulate the intrastate with a single state cultivation use of marijuana because it had a rational basis to believe that such activities, when aggregated across all states, could have a substantial effect on the interstate market for marijuana. So it's just so morbid. In other words, if an individual use of homegrown marijuana did not directly involve interstate commerce, the cumulative impact of such use when considered collectively with other instances of interstate use could still affect the overall marijuana market. So there was no marijuana market back then. There was no marijuana market. They're creating this garbage nonsense where it's the Supreme Court, scholar. It's the Supreme Court. Who does the most damage to you and to me? The Supreme Court does. The Supreme Court, 9 unelected oligarchs appointed by elitists for life. How long has John Roberts been on the Supreme Court? 30 plus years. How long has Clarence Thomas been on the Supreme Court? 30 plus years. What are we talking about? Why are they appointed for life? These 9 people who are unelected or appointed are going to decide that the Interstate Commerce Clause attaches to homegrown marijuana? That's just... And by the way, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Scalia, who had seen differences in Lopez versus United States and had seen differences in Morrison versus United States. So the 1995 case and the 2000 case of Lopez versus United States and Morrison versus United States, both of those had been struck down because they were using the Commerce Clause to try to create the Violence Against Women's Act in United States versus Morrison. And then they used the Commerce Clause again in Lopez versus United States, where a kid brought a gun to school to sell it. And they said if a kid is selling guns in schools, then that's going to affect the interstate commerce of the gun sale market. And they actually created this nonsense. And then the Supreme Court came in and said, no. Scalia led the conservatives to say, no, you can't limit gun rights based on the Interstate Commerce Clause. And they struck it down. And then in Morrison, they said, you can't create a Violence Against Women's Act because what's going on here. And so they struck using the Commerce Clause. They said that if Morrison can't go to school, then that's going to affect the interstate commerce of all schools. And women aren't going to want to go to schools if they're going to be sexually assaulted. I'm not kidding. And they used the Interstate Commerce Clause. And it got struck down by the conservatives again. And then in 2005 in Reich versus Gonzalez, then Scalia says, no. We're not actually using the Interstate Commerce Clause. We're using the Necessary and Proper Clause. So I'm not upholding the Reich tyranny where you can't grow homegrown marijuana. What I'm doing is saying that it's the Necessary and Proper Clause, not the Interstate Commerce Clause. Ruth Bader Ginsburg voted on the lines that they're using the Interstate Commerce Clause. They both had different reasons why they wanted to keep medical marijuana illegal, or homegrown marijuana illegal, but they colluded together. Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Scalia, if you don't know, are two tyrants that I hope and pray God sent to hell. They are evil. If you don't know anything about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Scalia, then listen, my friend, it's the Supreme Court, scholar. It's the Supreme Court. Scalia and Ginsburg were horrible. It is what it is. I just want to keep it real with you guys. I don't want you guys to be misled by people. This decision essentially expanded the scope of the Commerce Clause. So it expanded the government's power to include activities that, while not themselves directly involved in interstate commerce, could be subject to federal regulations if they had a potential possibility of an economic impact on the broader interstate market. In Gonzalez versus Reich, the court concluded that because marijuana was considered a fungible commodity, that it could be bought and sold in interstate commerce. Congress had the authority to regulate its use even for medical purposes under the Commerce Clause. Is that the most unbelievable? In Gonzalez versus Reich, the court concluded that because weed was considered a fungible commodity that could be bought and sold in interstate commerce, Congress has the authority to regulate its use, even for medical purposes. Get out of here. Get out of here. This case is significant for the interpretations of the Commerce Clause and its implications for the federal government's regulatory authority of activities that may have economic consequences, even if they appear to be primarily intrastate in nature. It's just so, let me just get out of ChatGPT before I lose my mind in anger. It just has got me just so pissed off. Just reading that nonsense, it's just such absolute and total crap that they have expanded the Interstate Commerce Clause so that they can regulate us. It's just, and they can decide everything we do, everything we have to do with. It just absolutely drives me crazy. So, these things really chap me because it's a massive overreach. All right. How you guys doing, everybody? What is going on? What is going on? Do me a favor, hit the like button. Take your finger and hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to show you another video where the coppers murder somebody and get away with it. Pretty disgusting. Pretty disgusting. It's just, we're just living in this tyrannical system of government that wants absolute and total control. Like that song, the Richmond of North Richmond. It's just so true. They want total control over us. They want to be able to tax us for anything. You get taxed on your paycheck. You get taxed when you buy something at the store. You got to pay income taxes at the end of the year. It's just such crap. And by the way, they could simply send you what they say that you owe, which this is how John Felix, by the way, started when he read a book about how the government has no right to create an income tax. It's just completely unconstitutional. But they did it anyway. They did it anyway. And so it just drives me absolutely batty. It just drives me absolutely batty. So check this out. This says, officer who killed a man at Walgreens, rehired, fired M4 commando from the backseat of an unmarked car. Striking suspected looter in the back of the head he mistook for a hammer in his pocket. This is unbelievable. This is truly unbelievable. Wait till you see it. So this says here, Monterosa was outside of Walgreens where police responded to a report of looting. Look at that. Look at that. Shooting his gun through the window of the car. The guy didn't have a gun on him. He just murdered him. He just murdered a guy. He was suspected of being a robber or a looter. He was outside of the Walgreens and they shot through the window to kill him. He didn't have a gun. An officer shot Monterosa 5 times through the windshield of a police vehicle. He was treated for his injuries at the scene, but died at the hospital. And if you guys saw the video.
What he pointed at us? I don't know, man.
He didn't.
Hey, he pointed a gun at us.
He did not point a gun at you lying jackboot thug pigs. You're absolutely lying.
Don't move. Do not move. Do not move.
Do not move. These guys are they're such douchebags. Look, he's shooting the gun from the backseat at a guy who didn't point anything at them. They just made it up. They just made it up. I mean, could you imagine how loud it is in that car? Why is he shooting through the window? Because he can't wait to kill somebody. So upon activation of the body camera, the portion of the recording is silent due to the camera's settings. Look at the gun this guy has. Look at the gun he's carrying, a commando. It's just, we just don't need it. We just don't need these cops to be armed like this. We don't need it. Obviously, they murdered a guy who didn't have a gun, that they said he had a hammer in his pocket. It's just, look at the gun he has. Why are you carrying around? What did they say the gun was called? They said the gun was called what? Fired M4 commando. He's got an M4. You use an M4 in Iraq. You use an M4 in Afghanistan. Unbelievable. I mean, look at this jackboot thug pig.
What did he point at us? Hey, he pointed a gun at us.
He's lying. Like they all lie. He's lying.
Don't move. Do not move. Do not move.
Do not move. You shot him a bunch of times. We don't know how many times because we couldn't hear. We saw multiple bullet holes through the windshield of the car. They're so afraid, though. They're trained to be so afraid. The next time you hear more training, this is the training. When you hear that we need to train them better, they go to training and they're trained, be very afraid. Shoot first. You don't want to get shot first. You want to make sure you shoot first. But the guy didn't have a gun. He didn't have a gun. There's no gun.
You see gun on him? He ran.
Look at this guy running around with his gun up like he's being surrounded by by people in a war. He's running around. Look at, they all got their guns pointed at a guy who's bleeding out on the ground. They're trained to be afraid. Look, he's still got his gun pointed at a guy who's bleeding out. Look at this. Look at this G.I. Joe loser over here on the right with his murder gloves on. Look at this loser. He can't wait to shoot somebody. Look at the guy's got his M4 Commando. What are we doing in our country?
Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. He's been shot multiple times by more than one person. Hands up. When you get shot, but I can't imagine because I've never been shot. But when you get shot, you don't spread your body out like this. You grab a hold of yourself. Oh my God, I'm bleeding. But they're going to put him in torture cuffs and he's going to bleed out on the ground.
Put your hands out. Put your hands out. Oh. Huh? Stupid.
You're stupid.
So where's he hit?
Give me some lights. Give me some light.
Okay. He's bleeding from the back of the head. Back of the head. Hey, that's not helping.
He's bleeding out the. You already said they shot him and he's bleeding out the back of the head. He's still wielding his gun as though he's surrounded by Iraqi Taliban and insurgents. He's still got his gun ready to shoot anybody else. What a pig.
Well, it is what it is right now. Are you okay? You got rammed. I didn't get rammed.
Are you okay? I got rammed.
I thought that fucking axe was done.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was armed too, dude. I saw him going like this. He was on the radio.
It's not what
You'll be all right, dude. You'll be all right.
not what I needed, didn't I?
Calm down. Take some deep breaths. Okay? Take some.
He's worried about the pig who just murdered another person. He's got his M4 Commando so he can kill people. That's what his whole plan was. Now he gets a paid vacation.
Deep breaths. Seriously. You'll be all right. Okay?
Oh my God. Let's everybody feel bad for the pig who murdered somebody.
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
There's the pig who murdered somebody right there. There he is. I hope and pray, bro. I hope and pray that when you die, you go to hell and you burn in the eternal fire forever. I hope you go to hell and you burn forever. Pray to God that you burn in hell, you son of a gun, you dirty rat pig, you disgusting pig carrying an M4 Commando in America. Just jackboot thug pig. So the officer who killed the Walgreens rehired. He was rehired. He was rehired. Unbelievable. You hear him establishing the party lie the second he got out of the car, just so everyone here knows. He pointed a gun at us. Remember that. Even if the guy had a gun in his pocket, that's not even a crime. Termination overturned for Vallejo, a detective who killed Sean Monterosa. Just so you guys know, I didn't know this was Sean Monterosa's killing. I know all about this murder. Matter of fact, Sean Monterosa is on my poster. You can get it on Delete Laws. Wow. Wow. So let's take a look at this just real quick. Let me share with you guys what I'm looking at just real fast. So let's just take a look at this article because Sean Monterosa, we are living in such a jackboot pig society. It's unbelievable. Termination overturned for Vallejo detective. Oh, he's a detective? You think that pig's a detective? The Vallejo Police Department, fired for killing Sean Monterosa, is getting his job back. Open Vallejo has confirmed. Detective Jarrett Tone prevailed in an arbitration hearing over his termination earlier this year, news of which only recently began to circulate. Sources with knowledge of the matter told Open Vallejo they spoke on the condition of anonymity because they're not authorized to discuss internal personal matters. While this is a tragedy, the right decision was made based on the law. Okay, so right there, let's just stop right there. Let's just stop. So then they've created tyrannical laws that benefit jackboot thug pigs who murder people in the streets. Sean Monterosa did not have a gun. He was not actively chasing cops or trying to fight cops. They pulled up on a guy, saw something in his pocket, and shot him. They've created laws that benefit pigs in our country. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You jackboot thug pigs are damn lucky that I'm a good person. Just disgusting to read this. They followed the law and he got his job back. While this is a tragedy, the right decision was made based on the law. What law? That you can shoot people if you just see them in the streets and you think they got something in their pocket? I remember when this happened. This was 2020. This was maybe, I think Breonna was killed in March, and then George Floyd was killed in April. I think Sean was killed May, June, July 2020. And this guy's case, let me keep reading here before you guys, sorry about that. I get pissed off. In December of 2021, then police chief Shawnee Williams terminated Tone for shooting Monterosa outside of a Walgreens. June 2nd, 2020. There it is right there. Boom. The detective fired 5 rounds from a Colt M4 Commando while in the backseat of an unmarked police truck, striking 22-year-old Monterosa once in the back of the head. Shot him in the back of the head. Records show Tone later told investigators he mistook a hammer in Monterosa's sweatshirt pocket for a gun. So it's not illegal to carry a gun. Williams allowed Tone to resume his full duties 2 weeks later, only to place him on leave in June of 2021. So this weak-ass pig waited a year, had him get his job back 2 weeks after he murdered somebody. Following a scathing report from a third-party investigator hired by the city to investigate the shooting. In the meantime, William kept Tone on the department's crime reduction team and allowed him to continue operating its cell site simulator. Oh my God. Oh my God. Crime reduction team? Just so you know, the crime reduction team, they have it in Nevada. You guys saw it when I was with Floyd Wallace when I did an audit. They had a crime reduction team. They run around the city, town, borough looking for something suspicious to investigate. That's the crime reduction team. They're Terry stop professionals. They Terry stop people based on them being suspicious of them. That is what the crime reduction team is. They're looking for someone they think is suspicious. It's just unbelievable what we're living through in our country. So in the meanwhile, Williams kept the murdering pig on the department's crime reduction team and allowed him to continue operating its cell site. So they have little cells of pigs that they say are, these pigs are in this, little tiny cells, little clusters of pigs. Its cell site simulated a powerful surveillance device the city illegally acquired in 2020. So they're using one of those what do they call those, what are they called? Someone put it in the chat for me. So that delay and other alleged discrepancies ultimately undermined Williams' credibility during the arbitration hearing, which played a role in the arbitrator's decision to overturn his firing. So who's the arbitrator? Who's the arbitrator? The arbitrator is a member of the Fraternal Order of Police. The arbitrator is a cop or a former cop or a prosecutor. The arbitrator doesn't work for the people. It's not a peon who got to that position of, no, it's a former cop or current cop or former prosecutor or current prosecutor. The arbitrator is not someone who's for truth and justice and transparency. No. The arbitrator said that because the captain hired him and then reduced his role and then put him on this cell site where they ran an illegal scanner, whatever it is, okay? Unbelievable. And so the arbitrator said, well, no, he can get his job back now. He murdered a guy he saw in the streets who had something in his pocket. We are just living in such a tyrannical world. It's disgusting. Played a role in the arbitrators. So one person decided, an arbitrator decided. What about the people who don't want that pig around? Williams did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The head of Vallejo's police union appeared to reference the arbitration award in an email sent to members on August 22nd, obtained by Open Vallejo. The POA, the Police Organization Association, whatever it stands for, working tirelessly and continuous to fight for your rights and combat the many illegal and unethical decisions that have been made over the past several years, wrote Vallejo Police Officers Association President Lieutenant, oh, shut up, dude, of 3 illegal terminations. Look, it's about the cop getting his job back. The police, what is that? The Police Officers Association. The Police Officers Association has been working tirelessly to fight for your rights and combat the many illegal and unethical decisions that have been made over the past several years. 3 illegal terminations had recently been overturned. Williams terminated Nicolini's employment in April 2021 after the cop sent a menacing email to journalist Otis R. Taylor Jr. Someone look up Otis R. Taylor Jr. Let's see who he is. Among other alleged misconduct, an arbitrator cleared him of wrongdoing, not of breaking the law, cleared him of wrongdoing. In an unrelated case, Herman Robinson was also fired in April 2001 for forwarding several work emails to a former cop. An arbitrator overturned his term. So they don't follow any rules. They can forward emails, they can kill us, they can shoot us, they can do whatever the hell they want. They overturned his firing when he sent emails to a former pig. And then they said, okay, fine, you don't get fired, you get your job back. Neither Nicolini nor a spokesperson for the city immediately responded to requests for comment. Vallejo police spokesperson Richard Hollis said he would speak with with Joseph Gomez, but did not respond as of this publication. Tone, the only officer known to have been fired for shooting a civilian in Vallejo's modern history, joined the Vallejo Police Department in 2014. 7 months later, he shot and wounded Gerald Brown. 7 months later, he shot another guy following a short car. This guy's ready to pull the trigger, and we can't get rid of him. The Fraternal Order of Police decides who cops are. In May of 2017, he shot and wounded Kevin DeCarlo. 6 weeks after that, he fired at Victor Hurtado, and Hurtado was running away, but missed. Like Monterosa, no firearms recovered for any of the men. Oh my God. The timing of Tone's return to work is not known. Wow. Wow. Just read it again. I mean, look at how many people he shot at. I mean, look at that. So this piece of garbage, Nicolini, he writes a bunch of menacing emails. I wish you pigs would write me. I get the death threats from you pigs. I get you guys coming in. You guys really want to fight pigs? Go to my Instagram. Go to my Instagram. Go to my Instagram. There are so many pigs there's so many jackboot thug pigs. So many. My entire feed on ChilleDeCastro _22 is just filled with pigs. It's filled with pigs. Just packed. It's packed. And then that's ChilleDeCastro _2022. I opened up a Delete Laws Instagram about a month ago. And on my Delete Laws Instagram, you can't talk right now. I'm live. Can I call you back? You good? Okay. So, I just want you guys to take a look at something. They rehired a pig in Vallejo. Where is Vallejo? Is that in Northern California? Is that where Vallejo is that where it is? I'd just like to know where Vallejo is. So just read read the words here. Just read the words here. Tone, the only officer known to have been fired for shooting a civilian in Vallejo's modern history, joined in 2014. 7 months later, he shot and wounded Gerald Brown. Then he shot Kevin DeCarlo. Then he fired at Victor Hurtado. It's in Northern California. It's too far from where I'm at to get up there, or I would go over there right now and go have a talk with those pigs. It's just so unbelievable what we're seeing, and it's never ending. It's never ending tyrannical garbage. He's shooting at people all the time. He's just trying to kill anybody he can. Why would we want the guy who shoots at people all the time to be a pig? Wipe it off. Hold on. Whew. Shake it out. Ooh. Oh, God. Oh, man. Jackboot thug pig. Just an absolute jackboot thug pig. We're seeing it. It's happening. It's real. It's every day. We see it every single day. Oh, I saw this yesterday. You guys got to see this. This is unbelievable. So this pig, he has his dog attacking this guy. The dog is mauling him. The guy takes a tennis racket to put it between him and the dog. He has his tennis racket and he's trying to stop this attack dog from biting him. And so the cop takes the racket away and beats him with the racket as the dog is biting him. And he's screaming, don't fight the dog. The dog's biting him. The dog's actively biting him. When I'm governor, I will ban canine dogs. You will not be able to use a canine dog. It will be banned. I'm telling you right now, the governor of any state can change the entire country. Did you know that? I'm not going to announce everything I'm going to do here. But when I'm governor, I'm going to change all of this crap. You can do it. I'm not going to reveal my whole plan, obviously, publicly. But you can change so many things if you're the executive of a state. So every single executive, there's only 51 executives in America. There's the president of the United States, and then there's 50 executives who are governors. Those 51 people make decisions for every state and the nation. So just imagine how much power a governor truly has. But what do we keep doing? You keep electing a Republican or a Democrat, or the son or daughter of a Republican or a Democrat, or a billionaire and his billionaire son or daughter, and you wonder why things didn't change. Nothing changed with Trump. Nothing changed with Biden. Nothing changed with Reagan. Nothing changed with Clinton. 4 Republicans and Democrats, they all did the same thing, expanded the police state, prison state, death state. Trump said, take their guns and then give them due process. Ronald Reagan created the for-profit prison industry. Bill Clinton created the 1994 crime bill that was written by Joe Biden. We're living under the leadership is terrible. And you guys keep on voting for billionaires and going, this is the best guy ever. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not. Sorry, he's not. He's not. Neither is he. Neither is he. Neither is he. And Hillary is... What was the biggest disappointment? Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders gets to the point where he could run and be president and maybe be a transformative president. And as soon as the billionaires tell him, no, you got a nice little flock of people together here. Now endorse Hillary. He then came out and endorsed Hillary. Bernie Sanders is dead to me. You're dead to me, bro. I would never support you, ever. You are such a jackboot thug pig. Bernie Sanders is the biggest fraud the country has ever seen. Well, the next president coming in, who's going to win in 2024, he's a fraud too. So it is what it is. I'm just keeping it real. If you can't take the truth, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear it. So you see how the guy's got the racket? He's got the racket. He's trying to keep the dog from attacking him. He's shirtless. So he's ready to give up. He doesn't want to fight the cops. He's on the ground. You could just tell your dog to sit over there and just put him in the torture cuffs. Look, he's on the ground. He's got no shirt on. Doesn't look like he wants to fight anybody. But canine cops are jackboot thug pigs who want to see their dog bite somebody.
Also tonight, this video sparking concerns about excessive force. It shows a
There's the state-run media right there. This is Fox. So Fox is the biggest garbage network there is. You can't say CNN is a garbage network and then say, but Fox is good. Come on, keep it real. Don't BS. Fox sucks. CNN sucks. Republicans suck. Democrats suck.
Daytona Beach police officer hitting a suspect in the head with a tennis racket. And while he's being hit...
Look at him. The guy was giving up. He could have just told his dog to leave him alone and arrested him. What?
Police canine is also biting him. Fox 35's Patrick Perez is live in studio tonight. So, Patrick, this video is pretty intense. It really is hard to watch. There's a lot of blood from a canine bite the suspect.
So they have one state-run media representative and they hand it off to another state-run media representative.
There's also a lot of yelling from both the suspect.
Look, why can't they just arrest him? Why they're watching the dog attack him as they attack him too? Why can't you just arrest him? Why can't he just surrender? Why does the dog have to bite him?
The responding officers, but it's the same video that a lawyer we spoke with says may show officers were in the wrong. It's just before 2:15
may show officers. Why is the state-run media? Why do you guys still listen to these garbage people?
a.m. on April 8th, Daytona Beach police officers, including a...
Look, just so you know, this is a sadistic, sick pig right here. This guy can't wait to watch his dog attack somebody. Can't wait. He trains the dog to bite people. He trains the dog to be vicious. They beat and abuse these dogs regularly.
Unit are responding to Daytona Toyota for reports of a man who had broken into a car and is carrying a tennis racket.
Oh, man. Isn't that what we always hear? Wasn't that in the Putnam County in Georgia where the guy body slams the guy? Wasn't he breaking into cars? Isn't that what we always hear? He's breaking into cars. Okay, if he's breaking into cars, arrest him. It's always the same. He's breaking into cars. Then arrest him. But that's not what cops do. They go and they want to hurt and maim and kill.
In this body camera video, you can see officers eventually find the man near the service area.
Please, canine, get on the ground now. You're going to get bit.
So automatically saying, I'm going to have the dog bite you, which is what he wants to do. That's his whole goal, is to have the dog attack somebody. We're seeing it all over the country. How many dog videos have I shown you today?
By multiple commands to get on the ground.
Get on your face now, or you're getting bit.
The man
Oh, dude, he can't wait. And now listen to the state-run reporter.
was still standing when an officer sends his canine after him.
So the guy was standing. Because he's standing, he releases the dog on him. You can't just stand there. You have to just, what do you have to do to not be attacked by the dog?
What happens next is what has some questioning whether...
That has some questioning? He's standing there, dude. And he releases the dog 50 feet away from him. Why?
The officer used excessive force.
The optics of this are really bad for
The optics of this are really bad.
department.
Just a few seconds after the canine bites the man.
So he's given up. He's given up. You see that? Look, the guy's on the ground.
This are really bad for the department.
Just a few
So he's on the ground. The cop is right over the top of him. The guy does not have a gun or a knife, nothing. He's just trying to get the dog not to attack him.
seconds after the canine...
Look, did you see that? Look at the guy's hand. Look when you look real slow here.
Few seconds.
See that? He puts his hand up. Look at his hand right there. Hey, come on, I'm done. I'm good.
After...
Look. Look. Got his hand over his face. Got his racket down there. He's not swinging the racket. The cop is going to take the racket away from him, allow the dog to attack him while he beats him with the racket.
For the canine...
He takes the racket away. The dog is not blocked.
bites
The dog
man.
immediately goes in and bites his leg.
The officer starts
So this guy's trying to get the dog from biting him.
hitting the man on the head with...
Now the guy starts hitting him with a racket. I thought their job was to protect and serve and to stop crime. This is a crime.
the tennis racket
Look,
he was carrying.
why is he letting the dog attack him? Stop fighting the dog. Why don't you get the dog off him, dude?
Find the dog.
Police say this was the safest choice for everyone involved. They argue the suspect was trying to choke the canine by wrapping his legs and arms around him, which could have killed the canine.
Wow. Did you hear what those jackboot thugs tried to say?
Police say this was the safest choice for everyone involved.
Police say this was the safest choice for everyone involved. The dog's biting down into a man's leg who's not wearing any pants. He doesn't have any guns or knives or nothing.
They argue the suspect.
Look, the dog's mowing on the inside of his leg, biting his leg.
Was trying to
Look, and he's
choke the canine.
look at the guy's face. He's beaten up. He's been hit in the face with the racket. Look at him. He's just look at him. It looks like he's got something around his neck, like he was trying to kill himself. That's what it looks like. Do you see that? Do you see what I'm looking at? There's a blue thing around his neck.
Canine by wrapping his legs and arms around him, which could have killed the
Look at the dog tearing the guy's skin apart.
canine.
Look at that. This cop is a piece of garbage. Look at that. This guy's curled up in a ball in the fetal position. Look. The dog's attacking him relentlessly.
The officer defends his actions in his own body camera video.
He was choking out Vezer, so I broke the racket over his effing head. That's just such a lie.
Choking Vezer, so I broke the racket over his head.
But Nijim Law partner Albert Yanfa doesn't see it that way.
Was he choking the dog, or was he just trying to protect himself from an ongoing attack? Either way, it doesn't justify grabbing the tennis racket and beating the suspect over the head.
More than 4 minutes later, officers are eventually able to arrest 57-year-old Richard O'Donnell. He's facing several charges.
Look, he's in fetal position, bro. Look. How in the world was this guy resisting arrest or doing anything at all? He's curled up in a ball. Wow.
Including
Look.
resisting arrest with
Got his legs crossed so his privates don't get bit.
violence and intent.
Wait, listen to the charges that he gets. Listen.
O'Donnell. He's facing several charges, including resisting arrest with violence and intent.
Resisting arrest with violence. He was standing there and they sent the dog after him.
Intentionally causing harm to a police dog.
He can't
Intentionally causing harm to a police dog.
comply if, one, he's being attacked by the canine and he's being beaten over the head by a tennis racket. Clearly, this was a use of excessive force.
And after reviewing the incident report, body camera video, and other documents, the department.
Wow, look at that dog savagely attacking this guy. Look, watch.
The incident report
So the dog runs up
or body camera video and other.
and they're blurring the pig's face so we can't see what the filthy pig looks like. The dog is attacking this man who's curled up in a ball. They're charging the guy for resisting with violence. Where's the violence from the man who's being attacked?
Documents. The department
Look at the dog savagely attacked.
found the use
He's beating on the guy.
of force
Look, he's hitting him.
was justified. As for O'Donnell,
Look at him.
his court case is still open. In the studio, I'm Patrick Perez, Fox 35 News.
They hid that pig's face. They won't show the pig's face. We don't get to see what the pig looks like.
Welcome back to
Taser now, God damn it! I'm trying to get the taser. God damn it, fucker. Ah, shit, I shot my fucking.
On May 8th, 2022, Officer Joshua Blazingham from the Camac Village Police Department
So they're going to incite this guy.
responds to reports of a suspicious man walking barefoot in a residential neighborhood.
I mean, yeah, what can I do for you?
So a suspicious man walking barefoot. It says veteran across his shirt. It's got an American flag on the patch.
Okay. What can I do for you?
The officer arrives at the scene
What can I do for you? You could leave me alone.
and is greeted by 35-year-old Dustin Arch Black, who appears to have been roaming through the street.
What can I do for you, man?
Just wanted to chat. I put my thumb out. You didn't respond. So.
Oh man, I can't stop in the middle of traffic. I pulled over. I mean, I'm here or not.
Officer Blazingham asked Mr. Black to sit and be detained for questioning, but it seems Dustin has other plans in mind.
If you don't mind, let's have a seat.
Oh, so it's a bootlicker channel?
I need to see some ID, sir.
Wow. He's walking around with no shoes on, and that's a reason to see some ID? He hasn't done anything wrong.
He ignores the officer and attempts to hitchhike a ride away from the scene.
Yeah, why can't he? He's done nothing wrong. There's no probable cause. There's no reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime either. He's done nothing wrong.
Come here. Turn around. Turn around.
Don't do that.
Turn around.
No, I don't want to be put in the damn torture cuffs. No, there's no probable cause. There's no reasonable articulable suspicion. There's nothing. And he walks up to him and then he says, no, I'm just going to leave. He tries to hitchhike a ride and now he wants to ID him and put him in torture cuffs. There's nobody who's been injured. There's no break-in. There's no probable cause. There's no reasonable articulable suspicion. There's a guy walking around with no shoes on. Why can't you walk around with no shoes on? And he's a veteran. So as you guys know, when they send our young guys off to war, they murder people or they watch people get murdered and it makes them cuckoo. It just does. Sorry, it does. It does. It messes you up murdering people who shouldn't be murdered.
Do not do this. Do not do this. Turn around. You turn around. Turn the fuck around. You don't want to do this, bro. Turn
Officer
around.
Blazingham
Why
is
is he?
enough.
Wow.
Wants to forcibly detain Mr. Black with the help of off-duty police chief Peter Powell.
Why is he grabbing him though? Why is he putting hands on him? What's the point in putting hands on the man?
Brentwood, North McKinley, stop. Stop. Stop fighting.
Just let me go. I'll sit on the bench. You're under arrest right now.
Just let me go and I'll sit on the bench. And he's got a blue striped shirt on. This pig right here. He's wearing a blue striped flag on his shirt. Look at that. He's wearing a blue striped flag on his shirt. Put a 1 in the chat if this guy's a pig. He said, leave me alone. I'll sit on the bench. And no, you're going to jail. Why is he going to jail?
Just let me go. I'll sit on the bench. You're under arrest right now.
No, you're under arrest right now. Why do you guys sound so freaking stupid, the Southern pigs? Why is it when you talk like that and you act like a pig, you sound worse than the regular pigs? How come that is? No, you're under arrest right now. You're under arrest right now. Why is he under arrest? What has he done wrong? I'm starting to, it's like, I'm an American. How can you like what's happening in our country? I don't hate our country. I hate these guys. What the hell's going on in our country? Look at what they're doing to this dude. He hasn't done anything wrong. There's no probable cause. There's no reasonable articulable suspicion.
Put your hands behind your back. Stop hazing, Tosh. Get on the ground.
Look at this. This guy's, I mean, just so you guys know, just so you know, this is not how you wrestle somebody.
Stop hazing, Tosh. Get on the ground. Hazing now, goddammit.
Tase him now, god dang it.
Stop hazing, Tosh.
So they immediately go to where they have to tase this guy. He has no idea what he's doing. He could have locked him up so easy from that position. So now they just think they're just going to electrocute a guy? Tase him right now. And look at this Barney Fife. Look at this overweight pig over here on the right. Trying to get, and he's seeing it. He's like, I don't want to get tased.
God damn it. I'm trying to get the taser. God damn it.
Josh, hit you again.
Ah, shit. I shot my fucking self.
What has he done wrong?
Call for help on the radio.
What has he done wrong?
Fucking leg fucking broke.
This guy's such a moron. Good. I hope this cop gets his ass kicked. Hope he gets his ass handed. What? What'd she say? Now she comes out and wants this guy. She said she's going to beat his ass, mother effer, for what?
Josh, get on the radio call. It broke.
I mean, just so you know, if you ever want to wrestle somebody, okay, a bad position is just sitting there like that, just laying on your hip. He's over there working on his radio and working on his taser and not helping the guy. Just
I didn't do shit. Josh, put a fucking handcuff on. I'm trying to do shit.
nice. That pig got rolled over. I'm rooting for the veteran. How about you? You going for the pig or the veteran? Look at this guy. He's on top of him, and the other guy's still messing with his radio. He's got his torture cuffs in his hand. What a joke. I mean, they hired the most out of shape fat pig ever.
Here.
He's handing him the cuffs and he's on the bottom. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You're about to die. Let me go. Big old boy, ain't you? Huh?
What has he done wrong? What has he done wrong?
Why are y'all hurting me? Why are y'all hurting me?
Fuck your toad. Stop.
Stop hurting me.
What has he done wrong? Just real quick. Just anybody here, just type in the chat for me real quick what this guy's done wrong. What has he done wrong? What's he done wrong? What has he done wrong? Why was he demanded ID of, and then why was he detained? For what? What did he do? Finger jab, stick a finger right in someone's eye. What did he do? I'm just wondering what he did.
Stop.
Help me.
Stop.
Help.
Stop.
Help me.
He's done nothing wrong.
Stop. We are trying to fucking help you. Stop.
Help
As you choke him and you put two guys on top of him, you're trying to torture cuff him.
me.
Stop. We are trying to fucking help you. Stop.
Boy, with that kind of help, I'll tell you, I need more help.
Help me. Help.
Stop.
Sir, help me. I didn't do anything wrong. Josh, get
Wow.
We got it on the way. We got it on the way.
I swear to God, I didn't. Settle down, son. Do anything wrong. Settle down, son. Settle down.
Can't match the one we need assistance.
I'm not gonna help you. All right, get me out of this. Settle down.
No, we need assistance. 1033 on the radio, Brentwood, North McKinley. Josh, I got him all right. Get over here. Get on the fucking ground. Shoulder.
Help me. Help.
Hold his leg down. No,
Do not help pigs arrest people. Do not help the pigs.
Emergency. Yes. I need to stand against my will. 5235. Stop. Hold still. Hold still. Help him. Who the fuck is this guy? Why is he killing me? Off my foot. Get him off my foot.
That says Camac Vic. CAMMAC on the Camac Vic something. What police department is that? And make 5 points. Tell me what the police department is.
I got him on the radio. They're on the way. I got his waist.
We got it. I need more people on his waist.
I need more people on his waist. Why are you holding him down to begin with? What has he done wrong?
Help me! Help! Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
You're fine. Hold still, dude.
Put my head on it. Put it on his head.
Calm down.
Say Jesus. Say Jesus.
What did she say? I'm sorry. What? Listen to what she says here.
Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
You're fine. Hold still, dude.
Put my head on it. Put it on his head.
Calm down.
She said, "Do you want me to put my foot on his head?" Wow.
Say Jesus. Say Jesus.
He's praying to Jesus so he doesn't die.
Jesus' name. Amen. Lord, you know what the belly jet up that little bit.
Wow, they're squeezing the air out of him.
Get back. I will die. You rod as you stand, they cover me.
He's praying.
I'll die for you, God.
You will fucking
I give up. I give up.
fucking hold still. I'll fucking quit.
No, he's not subdued. There was 3 guys holding him down, and he's
Hold still.
half up, and he's holding the cup. He's behind his shirt and his.
Barney Fife over here with his he can't get cuffs, can't get his radio, so out of shape, just disgusting.
neck.
Look at him, he's still fiddling with his radio.
He's got one cup.
When are y'all gonna be available to be here?
Hold still, motherfucker.
Stop it.
Quit. Get back. Get back.
Wow. They're choking him. The cop on top of him is choking him. You can hear him.
Hold still.
You can hear him choking. Listen.
Hold still,
That's air escaping through a tiny little passageway.
motherfucker. Just hold still.
Okay, well.
He's choking him.
Stop! Fucking stop!
You're killing him. Of course he's not going to stop.
Still. You're gonna be all right if you just hold still.
Look, they're putting all their weight on top of this guy. 3 people.
Hold still, motherfucker. Hold still.
Why is he calling him a mother effer? He hasn't done anything wrong. Nothing.
Okay. I know who you are. Not just no.
They sent it. Oh, they got a man on the scene. They sent in a pigtail, but the man on the scene is standing back. The pigtail comes running in.
What do you mean? Both people hold him down. He can't pick up. We just need, I need to get off of him.
I need to get off of him. Yeah, you do.
Help here before. Let's get more help because we're tired.
Look, now they're just now he's choking him too. Does he have a hand on his neck?
Let's get more help because we're tired.
Look, he's putting all of his weight where? That's where his head is. Looks like he's got his hand on his neck and he's putting all of his weight on his throat. Wow. What's he doing to him? Where's that weight going?
Mr. Black was later charged with disorderly conduct, refusal to submit to arrest, and first-degree battery.
Oh my God. I hope that guy reaches out. I want to talk to him.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Mr. Black was later charged with disorderly conduct, refusal to submit to arrest, and first-degree battery.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
We're good.
Hey, get off my head.
No, sir.
Please.
No, sir.
Get off my head, he said.
Can't breathe.
We're good.
Hey, get off my head.
No, sir.
Please.
No, sir.
King
No,
Cam,
sir.
we still need to.
So he's putting his weight, he's putting his hand on his head and pushing his head down into the ground.
More officers.
Can we put some handcuffs on his feet?
No.
Puppy. Help.
We need at least 2 more subjects and medicals to respond.
Get him off my
Calm
head.
down.
I can't deal with this.
Jesus.
No, calm down.
Jesus.
Calm down. You guys are the ones who are acting like nuts.
Calm down.
Help me, I'll die.
Calm down.
I'll die.
He's
Hey,
Calm down.
he's getting to me.
Calm down.
Calm down, dude.
Calm down.
If you get off me, I'll come there.
You okay?
Are you okay? What about the guy you're on top of?
Go to my Tahoe, and in the door panel, there's some leg shackles. They're long leg shackles. They may be in the passenger side door.
Quit. Just
Get him off my head.
He's still got his weight on the guy's head. Look at the pigtail. 100-pound chick. Doesn't belong there. Sorry, she doesn't belong there. I don't feel bad about it one bit. She doesn't belong there. We don't need her there. They need the entire police department to get one guy down, and they never needed to put him down.
If you guys will get his legs, we can fire and fight you.
Why don't you just get off of him and stand up? He doesn't have any weapons on him, so everybody just get up and stand up.
I'm getting off. Y'all got him?
Yeah, we got
Another pigtail. They need men with muscle to come in and hold this guy down. And they have pigtail number 1 and pigtail number 2. Neither one of those women could hold me down. Matter of fact, not all of them could hold me down. Not the fat piece of shit on top of him, not these 2 pigtails, and certainly not that Barney Fife fat out of shape pig. None of these people could hold me down if I decided they couldn't. Those 2 women, I would swat away like they're flies. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? They need some muscle, they need some real help, and they send in 2 women. I'm sorry. Women don't belong in that role. They don't. It's not a place a woman should be. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad about it at all. That's exactly how I feel. Women should not be in this role. Women should not be trying to hold down men. Should not be in that role. Shouldn't ask a woman to try to hold down a man. You got 100-pound little chick over there. You got about a 98-cent chick here. And you got some fat, out-of-shape Barney Fife and some fat police chief. Sorry if you're overweight. If you're too overweight, you're too fat. You need to lose weight. There's a limit. These guys are in terrible shape. Both those cops are so fat and out of shape, it's unbelievable. They send in 2 weak women. Look at her arm. Look. What are we looking at here? This is just a joke. This is our country. Look at her arm. Take a look at her arm. It's the size of a toothpick. Look at her arm. Look at her detainment strategy. I'm just going to take this one arm and put all my weight on there, and he's trying to make sure he has blood circulation. And the other guy's got his hand on his head, and he's just pushing both. That is not how you detain somebody. That is not how you take somebody on. You go under someone's arms. You see that? You get under their arms. You control people by their levers, here and their knees. There's 4 specific levers, 2 shoulders, 2 knees, that wrestlers use to tap, push, pull. What the hell am I looking at here? That is, you don't detain someone by pushing their head into the ground with all your weight, which is what this black pig did. That is, this other guy, this other chick down here has two arms on one leg. You reach around the leg and you put the leg up in you cup it like this. It's how you shoot a single and a double. That's how you wrestle. Why is this woman on the scene at all whatsoever? Why is she there and why is she there? And they didn't train this black pig? Now this guy comes walking in with his taser. Take a look at this. These guys are so weak and so beta. So beta. That when this cop comes in, when they say we need help holding him down, this cop comes in with his taser in his hand. He's got his taser. I'm going to tase you. He's got his taser out. I'm going to shoot you with the taser. Why not just take your two arms with a couple other guys and arrest him? Why are they jumping on top of him? Stand him up.
Stop. Look at here, Cookie. Listen to me. Listen to me. Come off this ground. You're gonna get tased, man. Stop. Put a cup on here.
I'm good.
Pull this hand out from under you. You understand? Do it now. Go ahead, pull.
Hold on, let me get this hand off so it doesn't come around here.
Send you a screen out right now. Just
No. Go on, man. He comes across the We do not.
I saw your big thing. I got 3 people here, so I gotta jump.
I know how to. Give an arm out. That hurt. Pull your arm. Get out.
Congrats, John. Sorry.
We're good. No, we're not good. Jesus. They're gonna.
Okay, so I was correct. The form of detainment the black pig was using was to put all of his weight into his right arm and to push the palm of his hand down into the ground as hard as he could. So you see him there at the 10-minute and 33-second mark. You see the black pig right here? He's got his hand on the guy's head. So that's 10 minutes and 33 seconds. So now let's take a look at when the black pig came in, and let's take a look at what he did.
Damn, motherfucker.
There he is. So his form of detainment from 7:32, from 7 minutes and 30 seconds till 10 minutes and 30 seconds, the way he believes that you detain. So there he is putting his 300-pound body down on the ground. Why are all these pigs so fat and out of shape?
Let's get more help because we're.
So you can see I thought he was choking him, but he's actually putting his hand on his skull and then putting all of his weight, which is about 300 pounds, onto the man's skull. Watch.
All right.
So right there's his hand on his head. It's in the same place 3 minutes later.
Oh my God.
Look.
Oh,
Look, he's just pushing straight down on the guy's head. And then you can see what he's doing.
We're good. No, we're not good. Jesus.
Now you can see what he was doing there, but he had to kind of have back his weight off so this pig could get in there.
Jesus, they're going to kill me. They're going to kill me. Put your arm under your front.
This guy's pulling his stick out.
Help me, bro. Put your arm behind your back. I can't. Yes, you can.
Look at all the weapons they have. This guy's got his weapon. This pig's got his weapon. Those are leg shackles. They're going to leg shackle him for doing nothing wrong, and the pig's harassing him.
Help. Jesus loves me. I was walking.
He said, I was walking.
We need a car with cage.
Car with a cage.
Car with a cage. They said it out loud.
We need a car with a cage.
Car with a cage.
Look at this little 100-pound pig here. Look at this 100-pound pig here. 100-pound pigtail, 100-pound pigtail. We don't want and need female cops. We got to get rid of all of them. They don't belong there. That's not their place. They want to work in the office. That's fine. They don't belong taking on men in the street, period.
Right here.
I mean, look at her. She's 98 cents. This one's 100. Look at all the pigs. They got their hands in their pockets. They're all sitting around. This guy's sitting here watching them do it. Look at all the pigs.
Let go of the cup.
Look at that. The man's still not completely fully in shackles, and all the other pigs are heading the other way. They're all looking around. I mean, look at this female pig. Take a look. Take a look at her. Take a look at this itty bitty tiny person that they hired to be a pig. Look at these women. They don't belong there. Sorry. Not sorry. Look at all those pigs. Look at all those pigs. That's unbelievable. Look at how many pigs are there for a guy who has done nothing wrong. He's done absolutely nothing. No probable cause, no reasonable suspicion, nothing. He was a guy walking around barefoot. That's his crime? Look at all those pigs.
Where's Josh? Right here. I'm burning.
Help me, almost tell me, bro. Help me. Be quiet. Help me. Shut your mouth. Help me. Hey.
Be quiet, shut your mouth.
Help me, man. Stop. I didn't do anything wrong.
Look at all those pigs. Look at all those pigs.
We got somebody over the cage? Yeah. Right here, man. Right behind you, man. You guys shackled on. Get up to your feet.
Look at all those pigs.
George Floyd style, bro. Come on, somebody. Be quiet. Help me.
This man has done nothing wrong.
No.
Look at this dweeb. What a dweeb. They tore his blue striped flag shirt. Thank God. Thank God. I wish this pig had come out of it really scathed. I wish he'd come out of it with some damage, but the veteran wasn't trying to hurt him. You see his blue striped terror flag shirt on. Is that something on his head where he hit his head on the ground? I mean, too bad that pig didn't really get what he deserves. Too bad that pig didn't really get what he deserves. Looks like he's got a black eye. I wish he'd gotten really what he deserved.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll do it.
Scumbag. Scumbag pig. Scumbag. What a scumbag pig. I don't all right. Just drives me crazy. It just drives me batty watching these things. It just drives me absolutely batshit crazy seeing these things. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. Some Karen called the cops on him. She ran out there. I'm going to shoot. Should I put my foot on his head? And the cop had to say, get away from here. And now they all stand around. There's the entire town salary. Anybody know what town that's in? I hate to go to this guy's channel because he's obviously a bootlicker. But I'll just take a look at what channel this guy's on. Let me just see what channel he's actually. I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not going to promote his channel. Yeah, no, he's a bootlicker. Oh, you guys found his channel. I'll drop the link down in the comment section for you. Here it is. Let this bootlicker know that we don't appreciate his perspective. Here's the guy's channel. SWE Observer's already over there. I'll show you guys the guy's channel. What a scumbag. What a scumbag. Seriously, what a scumbag. Like, I think did I drop the link in the channel down there? Let me see where it is here. Watchdog PD. What a scumbag. Scumbag. Absolute scumbag. Here's the link to that bootlicking channel. I mean, just unbelievable. So, this kind of leads me to what I want to talk about next, and then I got to get the flock out of here. But I'm going to show you guys one more thing. I created this video myself. I saw the body cam footage come out. I saw it come out, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about that out loud. The idea that you should be put in torture cuffs after you're shot is just so morbid. It's so morbid. And I saw this video and this body cam, and so I just had to show it. It makes me so furious. Like, watching this is so disgusting. So I'm going to share it with you guys and let you guys watch it. And this is what handcuffing people. P-Rex, what's up, Playboy? What's going on, Tim? How you guys doing? Isabel, Michael Fry, what's going on? Dark Wolf, how you guys doing, man? Soy Leal, what's going on? Soy, Tina, how are you? A Veterans Affair, what is going on? I mean, as a veteran, it should have scared you. Shock Professor, what's going on? Truth Reaper, what is going on? So everybody do me a favor, hit the like button. It'll just take a second to hit the like button. So I painstakingly took about 2 hours. You'll see where I did the keyframes of everything to cover up everything. This video is demonetized. Yeah. Apparently you cannot show police abuse people on YouTube anymore, or your video will be demonetized. So this says handcuffing shot people must end. I originally titled that at YouTube censors. I've painstakingly censored this. So demonetized. So no one will see it. As soon as they demonetize it, because YouTube doesn't make any money from it, they then take it out of circulation. So I put this video out and it's demonetized, even though I sat there for 2 hours and did the keyframes over it so I could show it. And this is a demonetized video. So everybody do me a favor, help me out, hit the like button. And then in the comment section, type in the chat, OTVO, which stands for Overturn Terry versus Ohio. That's the most important part. It's, another demonetized video that I spent hours and hours creating, and it's demonetized even though I covered up everything. You can't see anything. You're not allowed to show the cops hurt people because the Google China doesn't want the state to get the bad reputation that they have already. So check this out. This is pretty disgusting.
Somebody can bleed to death between 2 and 6 minutes, depending on the vessel, depending on the patient, and depending on what caused the bleed. That's enough time for them to completely be dead for 1 minute before EMS even arrives. That's why it's extremely important that everybody knows how to use a tourniquet and an emergency bandage to provide hemorrhage control in the case of that bleeding patient. Remember that.
So before this plays, and I'm going to let it play and I'm not going to interrupt it. I'm going to let you guys watch this, right? Before this plays, I just want you to know this is an unjustified shoot. The guy's running away. They said he has a knife, but he's running the other way away from the pig. And the pig decides to shoot him in the back as he runs away. And he kills him. He murders him. The guy's 50 yards away and running away. And the pig murders him. I just want to be clear. I just want you to know that everything you're going to see so that I don't. Oh, V Boyer is here. What's going on, V Boyer? KT. I just got a call from John Felix. So John, if you're in the chat, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night. I'm going to send him a StreamYard link. DLZ clips set alive for tomorrow evening. I got John Felix coming on tomorrow. The video I covered, the first video I covered, he was obviously wrongfully arrested, wrongfully imprisoned, wrongfully charged. Everything about what happened to John Felix is completely wrong. If you're watching or hearing this, John, I sent your channel out. I promoted it. I said, everybody go subscribe. So hopefully you guys get over there. I'm going to let you guys watch this without me, because this made my blood boil. I was screaming at the screen as I was slowly editing it, because I painstakingly for 2 hours, you'll see how much work I did to cover up the murder of this pig, to cover up physically, like cover up that we couldn't see the murder. Couldn't see him dying. He dies. He dies. All right, I'll shut up and I'll let you guys watch it. Sorry.
Southbound I drive.
Southbound I drive.
Hey, drop the knife! Drop the knife now! Hey! Drop the knife! Hey! Hey, drop the knife!
I'm not allowed to show the pig shoot him 15 times, but he just shoots him as many times as he can. I think it's 7 or 8. I don't think it's 15. I think I got a little exaggerating there. So YouTube, our enemy. We must find an alternative to YouTube.
Shots fired, shots fired. Hey, here. Hold here. Stay on the ground. Don't get up. Don't move. Don't get up. Let me see your hands now, buddy. Let me see your hands.
Somebody can bleed to death between 2 and 6 minutes. Remember that.
Start medical. Here, I got you. I got it. For a minute, we're going to need medical. Subject's down, refusing to show his hands. Let me see your hands, buddy. Show me your hands. 2 letters. It just 10-3 turned and was charging us. You good? Good. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands, man. I got gloves on. Watch his hands.
You got gloves?
Yes. Watch his hand. It is in this hand. The knife. Oh, it's right there, actually. Right here. Start treating. This off. Take this off of him. You don't have scissors?
Yeah, scissors.
Start cutting off his shirt, cuff this guy. You don't have a med pack? Anyone have a med pack?
Yes, it's in my unit. What's your name, man?
One more. Someone's grabbing it. Berrigan's grabbing it. Hey, buddy, it's all right. Can you hear us? Buddy?
We're gonna need. He's got a sucking chest wound, so we need it's a flat bandage. That's gonna have a 2-way valve.
This way, you got me.
Do you have an extra glove on you?
I don't. Yeah, we're still.
So he's pretty close to dead right there. It's been 3 minutes almost with no aid rendered.
Yeah. Hold that right there. What's that?
You good? still rolling? Make sure it's still rolling to work. I'm rolling out of here.
You see the man in torture cuffs? You see the cuffs on his hands? He's literally bled out. 4 minutes, almost 3.5 minutes. He's about dead.
All right, I have.
You got one over there?
Hold on, and I have a second, so give me, hold on. Okay, 1 to 5. Get another, some type of bandage for his back.
Spoiler alert, just so you know, he's dead. He's dead right here. He's gone.
Okay, one on his back here.
You guys can't see it, and I'm sorry that you know, I'm actually, just so you know, there's 3 bullet holes in his heart. You can see it plain as day. He's dead. He shot him through the heart and once in the back of the head. He's dead. Shot him at least 7 or 8 times. The man right now that they're pretending like they're doing something for, now you're entering into the 5th and 6th minute. You just heard the medical professional say that if he's bleeding, that he has 7 minutes tops, depends on how severe the wound is, like the doctor said earlier, or the EMT said. And here he's at 5 minutes in. 5 minutes in. 3 holes in the chest, 1 in the head. I just wanted to let you guys know so that you know what they're doing. They're pretending like they're doing something for a guy, but he's already dead. The EMTs are going to ask him to take him out of the torture cuffs.
What we got? This one's pumping bad on the back. We don't have another. Sorry,
Get another one.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, stay with us, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy, stay with us.
Buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy, stay with us, man.
He's dead. Gone.
Hey, buddy.
Now, you can't see it here, but just so you know, I think I put it in here in writing in a second. The pig takes his T-shirt that they cut off that's bloodied, and he puts it over the wound. He just places it on the wound and then puts his hand on it as though that's doing anything at all. Got a T-shirt.
Oh, come on, man. Why?
Come on, man. Why? You shot him as he was running away is the reason why. You shot him as he was running away from you. He's dead now, and he's got his T-shirt over the bullet holes.
Stop.
Charles Q is making that call right now.
He's dead. You see that? There's no, look at his fingers down here. There's no movement in his fingers. There's no life in his fingers. There's no twitching. He's completely dead.
They're going to step in the feet.
Somebody can bleed to death between 2 and 6 minutes. Remember that.
Use that T-shirt. Way to go, bro. You're doing a great job. He's got the murder gloves on, everybody. Right there, murder gloves. You see the murder gloves? There they are, right there. He's got the murder gloves next to the tattoo of someone's name on his wrist. I wish I could see what that is. Just get rid of that T-shirt. We don't need to cover the bullet holes anymore. Right there, after he removes it, you can see there's 3 bullet holes exactly where his heart is. You can see them on the front as well.
Is he still breathing?
No, he's not breathing.
All right, pull him over.
So he says, no, he's not breathing. And I just want to remind you that they're 5.5 minutes in. and they say he's not breathing. If he's not breathing, then he should be getting CPR. He's dead as a doornail.
Here's an additional lower back. Going to. When you start doing.
You see how I have to move the block around to cover any blood? It's demonetized anyway. There he is. You can see it just ever so slightly.
When you start doing.
That's how dead he is. That's how dead he is. He's dead. See his face? Dead. Gone.
Also,
Dead.
cuffs.
And then the guy say, can you take the cuffs off so we can work on him and try to save his life?
Also, way to remove those cuffs.
I can't. I couldn't get up. Hey, doing the test.
Oh, get the torture cuffs off of him.
Two front, apparent, two rear, exit.
All right. Once we get the darts, I'm going to have you start CPR, okay, buddy?
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Forgive me. Look how fast they're all moving. Look how quickly. It's been 6 minutes and 20 seconds since he shot him 7 times, 3 through the chest, one in the head, 1 in the lower back. Shot him multiple times as the guy was running away. And now they're acting as if, quick, hurry, quick, get in there fast, get in there fast. The guy's completely dead. You saw his face. I purposely showed his face so people could see he's dead. You just couldn't show any blood or guts. So I just want you guys to see it. That's all. Hurry, get in there, hurry, get in there, save him. 7.5 minutes in, and CPR begins.
Right now.
CPR begins. You guys have got to see this. Let me laugh with you for a minute, okay? And of course, the laugh is just disgusting, pure irony, right? So Pigtail gets in there. She starts doing this chest compressions. We're like 7 minutes in. You heard the EMT say that 7 minutes with a minor wound, you bleed out. 7 minutes with a major wound. But now I want you to see this, okay? So the female little Pigtail jumps in there and she starts her compressions, right? And in case you guys are not familiar with CPR, which I've been certified like 20 times in my life, you're supposed to go to the beat of staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. You sing the song in your head so you're distracted as you sit and you pump on someone's chest, okay? So they're doing this to a guy who's completely dead. And then look how the female pig pretends as though what she's doing has any merit, as though if they do this quick, they're going to keep him alive. Watch the switch off here.
And
now, the CPR begins right there. You see that? We are 7 minutes and 23 seconds in, and the CPR begins 7 minutes and 23 seconds in later. Staying alive, staying alive. She's not even doing it right. Look, I just showed you how to do it. They teach it.
Right now.
There's still cops coming flying in. That's how good the system is managed. People are like, Chille, man, your ideas would cost so much money. we would know right away that you don't need cops to come flying in with their sirens running as they're speeding through the streets. We would know right away. We would know right away that you don't need to be running red as fast as you can. We don't want you pigs to intrude on society. We want the minimal amount of intrusion into a civilized society as possible. The pigs have created this disgusting culture. I've said it dozens of times. I'll say it again. The 1850s Fugitive Slave Act meant that cops could go up in the North and drag people down. They could treat that black person however they wanted. That created the brand of violence that we see in policing today. This is just, it's just disgusting to see this.
LT, did you grab that knife? LT, did you grab that knife? Anyone grab that knife? Did you get him a roll of
Oh, shoot.
Let me drop some of this where the fucking knife is at. Okay. I want to mark this knife real quick. Yeah.
It justifies his murder.
Yeah, we got, yeah, I got 49. I dig it. Also more deadly.
Yeah, I threw some tape on top of it. This would have to be from there up here.
Make sure nobody comes in that place.
Me and Baragon.
Okay. Let's finish setting up the scene and then we'll get them down to HQ.
So there that is. It's just so you guys know and take this to heart. Any interaction with a pig could get you killed. If you start to talk to a pig, if you start to have a back and forth with the pig, then the pig can say that you created that he could be suspicious. You said something that made him suspicious. If you're talking to the pig, he could say that, well, he sounded like he was going to get violent or aggressive with me. If you talk to a pig, then he can say anything he wants. You're the one that started talking. You cannot talk to pigs. And I was saying this last night on an audit I was doing, and I was telling DLZ Clips, the most powerful amendment currently in our amendments, in our Bill of Rights, is the Fifth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment's been completely stripped away. The First Amendment still has some teeth, but the most powerful amendment right now that you can use is the Fifth Amendment, your right to remain silent. So while I was in Hollywood, I took the time to meet up with an old friend and put some stuff together to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. You absolutely have got to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent when you get involved with these pigs. His goal is take you to jail, impound your car, and take your money. License, registration, and proof of insurance, please.
I mean, I wasn't even doing that. Why you pulled me over? I wasn't speeding.
I pulled you over.
Dude, I was going 15 miles. You see me just turn down the street?
I didn't see that. Sir, can you please step out of the car? Give me both your hands.
Sorry.
I'll take
Sorry, I'm not.
So he doesn't listen to what I told him as a copper. She's filming. I'm filming. Come on, step out.
Sorry, listen to me real quick. Listen to me.
Oh my God.
Relax. I told you I already know how to deal with these. I've been through this too much.
Can I get your license, registration, and proof of insurance?
Sure. I do not care why that cop is pulling me over.
Why do you care why he pulled you over? You don't need to ask him why he pulled you over. Stop asking pigs why they pulled you over. Stop asking that.
What does it matter to you what he's going to lie about?
Why do you care what his lies are going to be? Don't ask him why he pulled you over. That starts a conversation.
My job is to live.
His job is to survive. And you guys just saw, I just showed you, they're killing people.
Anything I say to this guy, he'll use against me.
Spot on.
If I answer one question, he's gonna want me to answer another and another. Brothers, give him your license, your registration, and your proof of insurance, and then plead the fifth.
You know why I pulled you over?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
That's how it's done. The cop's goal is take you to jail, impound your car, and take your money. License, registration, and proof of insurance, please.
I mean, I wasn't even doing that. Why you pulled me over? I wasn't speeding.
You mean when I pulled you over? Right.
Dude, I was going 15 miles. You see me just turn down the street?
I didn't see that. Sir, can you please step out? Okay, so right there, the guy's being argumentative. Now you got to step out of the car. In the comment section below, just tell me what happens to you when you step out of the car. I'm just wondering, what do you think happens to you when you get out of the car? How's that going to go? What happens to you next? What happens? It's just out of the car. Give me both your hands. So, and then because he said, I didn't see that. So then he's now arguing back and forth. So the cop tells him to step out of the car. What happens after he steps out of the car?
Sorry,
I'll take
sorry,
this from
I'm
you.
not.
She's filming. I'm filming. Come on, step out.
Sorry, listen to
torture cuffed. That's what I'm talking about. Look, you use the trifold. You put the trifold up in your visor with the rubber band. You have your license, registration, proof of insurance on a laminated card, and you use the trifold. You invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent immediately. You do not talk to cops. You have seen, I've shown you hundreds and hundreds of videos where cops kill people. I've shown you hundreds of videos that when you get out of the car, you get hurt. You get put in torture cuffs. You get shot. You get tased. You get hit with a stick. You get attacked by a dog. The most powerful amendment for you is the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You have to show it to the copper, show it to the camera, show it to the copper, and then just repeat it over and over and over again.
Listen to me real quick. Listen to me.
Oh my God.
Relax. I told you I already know how to deal with these. I've been through this too much.
Can I get your license, registration, and proof of insurance?
Sure. I do not care why that cop is pulling me over. What does it matter to you what he's going to lie about? My job is to live. Anything I say to this guy, he'll use against me. If I answer one question, he's going to want me to answer another and another. Brothers, give him your license, your registration, and your proof of insurance, and then plead the fifth.
You know why I pulled you over?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
That's how it's done. That's exactly how it's done. And that's what you do. You use your phone to prove that you invoked your Fifth Amendment right. For James Freeman, just so you know, the guy who preaches qualified immunity, once the cop is aware that he's violating your rights, that goes around their qualified immunity, Mr. Freeman. I'm not sure if you know that or not. If you can prove that the cop knew better and he violated your rights, qualified immunity is out the window. Terry versus Ohio remains. You can prove the cop violated your rights all day long. Tomorrow, there'll be Terry versus Ohio. If you prove he violated your rights and he goes around his qualified immunity, you can sue him and hold him accountable. The Fifth Amendment, though, is the most important amendment for you right this second. You want to invoke your Fifth Amendment right away. When you get the trifold, I send you this nice big fat broccoli wad rubber band so it goes right above your visor. You got to listen to me. You got to listen, dude. You got to listen. And I know you guys watch my channel and you guys think, oh, you know, I see Chille do it and I'm just going to tell this cop I'm a constitutional law scholar and I'm going to take him on. And matter of fact, I heard one guy that got beat up. I think he was trying to say I'm a constitutional law scholar because he'd watched so many of my videos, but then he got beat up and arrested anyway because he wasn't used to taking on cops face to face, especially when he was the subject of their investigation. So if you want to carry the trifold in your pocket, you fold it into thirds and you carry it in your pocket just like this. Just like that. Fits right in your wallet. Just like that. And then you invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You continue to use your camera as your guiding light and as your weapon for transparency. Because we can't fight these guys with knives and guns. We're just going to lose. They're too organized. They have too many weapons. They have all the military weapons. Believe me, man, if I thought we could just have a revolution, I'd be down. I don't want to die, but The way we're looking at it right now, people are living on their knees. I'd rather die on my feet personally. Me personally, I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. So, you know, how do I say this? Please don't think that you can do what I do. I don't think I can do what you do. I can't do what Chevy does. I can't do what Northeast Colorado Cop Block does. I can't do what Tim Morgan does. I can't do what DJ Smith does. I can't do what V. Boyer does. I can't do what that person does. I can't do what Jeff Hates Pig does. I can't do it. I can't do your job. I can't do what Victor does, what Alec does, what Joel does. I can't do what the Citizens Broadcast Cooperative does. I can't do that for a living. I can't do that. That's not in my wheelhouse, what you do. You don't do what I do. You guys see the podcast with a guy named Bradley Martin and Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, who's a professional UFC fighter, he's been fighting for 15 years or something. He goes on Bradley Martin's podcast, who's a bodybuilder and a podcaster. Bradley Martin weighs 265. Nate Diaz weighs 185 when he's not in the cage and he cuts down weight. And Bradley Martin asked him, he says, hey, do you think you could take me in a fight? And Nate Diaz says, you're a podcaster, baby. So, you know, we do different things is all I'm trying to say. You know, we do different things, you and me. So I'm just trying to get you to do it so that you don't get beat up. If you can't afford my trifold, I'll send it to you in an email that you can print out yourself, and I'll give it to you for free. That's how serious I am. I sell this for a living. DLZ Clips knows that. This is what I sell. This is how I make money. Besides some people who donate to me. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. But this is how I make a living. I'm willing to give it to you for free if you will just invoke your Fifth Amendment right and not talk to these jackboot thug pigs. I'll give it to you for $0.00. That's how much it'll cost you. It'll cost you 10 cents to get it printed out. It'll cost you 10 cents to get it printed out at the Kinko's or FedEx. And then it'll take a little bit of wherewithal and stick-to-itiveness to make sure you carry this thing in your pocket with you at all times. You always never run to the store without your phone. You never run anywhere without your phone. You don't leave the house in a police state without a way to record. You understand that? You don't leave the house without your cell phone. You don't leave the house without your phone. Okay? Okay. All right. You understand? You get the delete laws you get the trifold on deletelaws.com. There's a $9 version that you can print at home that I'll give you for free if you don't have $9. And there's a $30 version that looks like this that I mail to you from California. Okay? That is my whole entire pitch to you to get you to not talk to cops. Hey, man, I want your $9. Thanks for buying it. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Your sale is not. There are people in this chat who have truly stepped up in my life and have been a big part of my life. I'm not here alone. These people in this chat over here, there are people who have helped me so much. That's why I don't mind spending the time sending you a free trifold over the computer. You print it out at Kinko's and you keep it in your car. You print out 20. You give 10 away to friends and family, and then you keep one in your back seat, one in your front seat, one in your visor, one in your wife's visor, one in your brother's visor, one in your sister's visor, one in your mother's visor, one in your father's visor. Then you guys sit around at dinner and you go, I watch this guy on YouTube. I want you guys to stop talking to cops. I want you to invoke your Fifth Amendment right. You lead. You take the lead. Even for the introvert out there who watches my videos, never comments, never says anything, you lead your family to justice and to freedom and away from being detained. You heard what Michael Pulley said. He said, brothers, give him your license, registration, and proof of insurance. No delay. Because if you don't, they're going to torture cuff you. They're going to torture cuff you. I can feel it. It just, it comes over me, you know, and I start to get the goosebumps, and it just starts to come over me where I get this vision in my head that you get your ass kicked and I got to take your phone call or feature your video on my live stream. And in the video, I watch you and you did not pull down a trifold and you did not invoke your Fifth Amendment right. You did not film those cops properly. You did not film their faces. You didn't do it. And now I got to watch the video and you're saying, Chille, please help me, but I don't have a bar card in any state. So I can only help you by exposing and then hoping that we can raise enough money to get you a half decent attorney. But I see your video and you didn't have the trifold. I said, I'd give it to you for nothing. I said, I'll email it to you. I said, there's people in this chat who have truly supported me, truly helped me, truly said, Chille, I believe in you and your mission. I will help you. I will help you. I will pay it forward. DLZ Clips and I will sit there and we will send out free trifold after free trifold after free trifold as long as you just tell me you'll use it. And if you don't get my broccoli wad rubber band, you get any rubber band. You get a rubber band, you get a couple rubber bands, and you stick the dang trifold up in your visor. Your hands never go below the steering wheel, ever. Your hands never disappear. Never, never, never. Not in America, Jack. Not here. You got that trifold rubber banded up into your... Okay. You have got the trifold rubber banded up on your visor. You know your license, registration, and proof of insurance is in the visor. Your insurance card is not in your phone. It's in the visor. It's right there. You know that when you get pulled over, you go to touchdown position. Make a touchdown with your arms like a field goal post, touchdown. You know when the cop comes up, you're filming yourself and you're filming the cop just like that. You know that your hands slip up here and you slip the visor out, you slip it out and you show it to him. Okay. Did I see Dan Hanlon just come through here? James, what's going on, player? V Boyer. Michael Dolan, what's going on, Playboy? Ghost. The Ghost P-Rex. Chief, what's going on? I love Yahweh is in here. Victor, Shock Professor. Good to see you, my friends. Good to see you. Green Mirrors, nice to see you. Jet Fuzz. Jet Fuzz Music. Jet Fuzz Music. Jet Fuzz, if you don't have $9, shoot me an email and I'll send it to you for free. No problem. I hope you have $9, but if you don't, I'll look at the alternative to you having a back and forth with the pigs. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen videos where they have a back and forth with the pig and then the person gets pulled out of the car and put in torture cuffs. Just put a 1 in the chat if you've ever seen that. Guy says, hey, why'd you pull me over? Or cop says, do you know why I pulled you over? You go, well, I don't know why. Well, you made an illegal turn back there. I didn't think I made an illegal turn. Well, you did make an illegal turn. No, I didn't. Okay, step out of the car. Now you're in torture cuffs. Shut the front door. Shut the front door and invoke your Fifth Amendment right. The Fifth Amendment is the most powerful amendment in our day and age today. I'm talking about in a defensive manner where you're defending yourself from the state. Offensively, the First Amendment is going to be the most powerful right now. Well, no, Fifth Amendment's all about the defense. It's about due process of law, and it's about invoking your right to remain silent. So the Fifth Amendment is really where you're going to get a lot of that power. All right, I got to get the flock out of here. It's Sunday night. I hope you guys had a great one. Tomorrow, Jason Dollarhide video. Tomorrow, update of the Jason Dollarhide body cam. I think I released it already. It's out. If you guys want to see it, the Jason Dollarhide camera is already out. I didn't see him assault anybody. So if you guys will take a look at that. Delete Laws Reloaded. Delete Laws Clips. Chevy, thanks for coming, brother. I appreciate you so much, man. Mark, thank you for coming. I appreciate you guys, man. Nay, thank you. Bruce, I appreciate you. Gregor, I appreciate you coming. War, thank you, man. Thank you. Michael, anybody else? I thank you guys for coming tonight. I appreciate it. Soy Leo, V Boyer. Love you, hon. Love you. Victor, what's going on? Lenny, thanks. Always good to see you, Lenster. What's going on, bro? Jeff hates pigs. Jeff hates pigs and writes on. Writes on. Writes on. Are you following Beth Rist over there in Ironton? Man, Beth Rist is coming out of her shell. I'm going to cover her video. I'm only going to cover little parts of it, though, just the important stuff, because I don't want to get in the weeds with some personal garbage. Katie Fry, good to see you, hon. Good to see you. Thank you guys for coming. EH, you guys don't have the same rights in Canada, so be very careful in Canada. So be very careful up there in Canada. Sammy, good to see you. Rich, thank you guys. Mike, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you. Anthony, JC, what is going on? All right, listen, I'm going to get the flock out of here. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. See you guys on the next one. Mikey B. Later, Gators.